This is the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Since its opening in 2007, the home of the Devils. They first came to New Jersey in 1982, following prior incarnations as the Kansas City Scouts and the Colorado Rockies. But here in the Garden State, they've won 3 Stanley Cups, featuring captain Zach Parise and certain Hall of Fame goaltender Martin Brodeur, who at 40 has yet again sparkled in the playoffs. The Devils have come out of the 6th seed, and yet they have home ice advantage in this Cup final. That's because their opponent is an 8th seed. So, in a sports year that's already seen the wild card Cardinals come from 10.5 out in late August to win the World Series, and the 9-7 Giants emerge as Super Bowl champions, here now are the Los Angeles Kings. The last time this franchise reached the Stanley Cup final was the only time prior to tonight. That was 1993, and the Kings' best player then was a 32-year-old center named Wayne Gretzky. This year's team, captained by Dustin Brown and receiving brilliant goaltending from Jonathan Quick, has advanced to the Cup final by defeating in succession the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd seeds, going 12-2 in the playoffs in the process and never dropping a game on the road. So, at this moment, it seems possible that an 8th seed could actually be the NHL's best team. But starting tonight, they'll have a devil of a time proving it. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Costas, and on behalf of all of us at NBC Sports, it is my brief and pleasant duty to welcome you to the Stanley Cup Final. They'll drop the puck for Game 1 in about 20 minutes, and already the building is brimming with anticipation. So right now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly what you folks at home are preparing to do. Settle in and enjoy the game as we turn things over to our regular NHL broadcast crew and our lead voice, Doc Emmerich.
Pandemonium reigns there in the Detroit Olympia.
For more than a century, the Stanley Cup has been handed to the best team in hockey. And in the modern day game, those best teams can carry very different legacies to the ice.
The celebration starts for the 3rd time in their history.
It wasn't that long ago that there was a dynasty in New Jersey. 3 cups raised in 9 years. And the history emanated from the goal crease.
And Marty Brodeur is the winningest goaltender in the NHL.
Now 40, Marty Brodeur settles in for a shot at one more title against a team that hasn't been this close in 19 years.
The Kings have won it, and they go on in the Stanley Cup Final.
Founded in 1967, Los Angeles has only had brushes with greatness, but never won it all. Now from the very bottom of the bracket, they've flown through the playoffs, anchored by their rising Hockeywood star, Jonathan Quick. Winning it all opposite the great Brodeur would be the perfect cap in what's been a magical springtime. The engraver is calmly waiting for the names. Kings or Devils? Game 1 is next. They score! Remarkable save! Welcome to Prudential Center. Welcome to Championship Plaza, where they hope to have another one. And welcome to the Stanley Cup Final, presented by Geico. It's Game 1, the final playoff series. The Los Angeles Kings and the New Jersey Devils. And good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Emmerich. Something rare going into this final. We have largely healthy players on both teams. We have rested teams as well. And something else coming in tonight, we have hot teams. The Los Angeles Kings over the last 7 weeks have lost only 2 games. The New Jersey Devils over the last 4 weeks have lost only 2 games. They are both hot. To NHL Live, Liam McHugh, Mike Milbury, and Keith Jones. Gentlemen.
Doc, thanks so much. So we have hot teams, but the bottom line is, guys, we have a 6 seed in the Devils. We have an 8 seed in the LA Kings. They've defied the odds thus far. They're going to continue to defy the odds and win the Stanley Cup. We want to know the keys to success. Let's start with LA.
Well, the Kings have steamrolled their way to the Stanley Cup Final on the backs of their forecheck. The first element to that forecheck, of course, is speed. They're jump right in your face, pressure defensemen into making mistakes. And the second part of it, they got a lot of beef. Andrei Kopitar, about 225 pounds. Dustin Penner, just a mere 245. These guys are causing all sorts of havoc to opposing teams' defenses and putting the puck in the back of the net from a guy like Mike Richards has been just an average thing on a nightly basis, Richard's finally delivering the goods.
And for the Devils, it'll be counteracting that. They've got a goaltender in Martin Brodeur that has done an unbelievable job throughout his career in handling the puck, keeping teams off the forecheck, his ability to make smart plays, a little chip pass right there. Back here calmly on the backhand, moving and allowing the Devils to move out of the zone. Here's a stretch pass. Salvador, and an underrated mobility on the back end for the Devils will be a factor in getting pucks out of the zone, winning battles on the wall. It's going to be a key to this series.
That's the deal with the Devils goalie. Up next, we'll hit the ice to learn how to attack LA goalie Jonathan Quick. Kings and Devils, Game 1, coming up.
Justin Penner has sent the Kings to the Stanley Cup Final.
The Jersey faithful hoping their Devils can win their 4th Stanley Cup, but of course, it would be their first in this building. Welcome back. Statistically speaking, Jonathan Quick has been the best goaltender of this postseason, but the Conn Smythe candidate is in fact beatable. To find out how, we put Jeremy Roenick, Darren Pang, and Pierre Maguire on the ice.
The big concern for the New Jersey Devils, how are they going to beat Jonathan Quick? Jeremy Roenick, he knows a little about scoring 53 playoff goals in 154 playoff games. And Darren Pang, goaltender par excellence with the Chicago Blackhawks. How do you get it done, boys?
Well, everybody thinks, Pierre, that you can beat Jonathan Quick up high. He is so good going post to post. His edge work, next to none. He's explosive down low. In doing so, he does often get himself in a position where he's down and over top of the puck. Shooters are thinking there's a million miles up there, but his spine angle reminds me a little bit of Dominik Hasek, the way he played. He'll get over top and he'll kind of trap pucks, but the timing of it is about here, down low, and sometimes Jonathan will fall back on his stomach and rely on his legs for any kind of deking.
That's perfect for a shooter. As a shooter, what I want to know, it's that timing. It's that time for Jonathan Quick. Since he's going forward, Jonathan Quick's a reactionary goaltender. For a shooter, you want to know what you're going against. A lot like Patrick Waugh. The way I beat Patrick Waugh a lot is I would make the first move. As a reactionary goaltender, they want to make the first move. But for me, I'm going to hold it 1 second longer and hope that what you just said about Quick coming forward is going to happen. Because I'm going to drop my shoulder, I'm going to hold it, then I'm going to go up top and go in the back of the net. To me, that's a perfect opportunity to go really high. Ray Whitney had an opportunity in Game 5, didn't get up high enough. Quick made the save. It was the difference of the game. New
Jersey's going to hope for second chance opportunities, but at the end of the day, Jonathan Quick, Marty Brodeur, they're going to be the huge stories in this playoff series.
So that's how you get to Jonathan Quick. Tonight will mark the 200th career postseason game for Martin Brodeur. How do you beat him?
They always talk about throwing pucks at Marty Brodeur's feet, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't work. This is his 5th trip to the Stanley Cup Final. You got to get traffic in front of Marty Brodeur. Don't let him see the puck. Try to agitate him.
If you bump him, he'll draw penalties too. He's very good at feeling in around the crease area. The LA Kings have to be sharp in that department, or they'll be shorthanded for bumping Brodeur.
To get to the best of either Quick or Brodeur, both teams will look to their captains. That means Dustin Brown for the LA Kings. He leads LA with 7 goals in this postseason. For Jersey, it's Zach Parise. He also has 7 goals in these playoffs. 2 American captains. Doc and Edzo set the stage next.
Eddie Olczyk has joined me here. The Los Angeles Kings have led every series. The New Jersey Devils have trailed every series. Yet they're both here and they've been impressive. What has impressed you most?
Well, I think their philosophy and styles, Doc. It is about offense for both of these hockey clubs. The LA Kings, the guys have been talking about it, their size, their speed. But to me, the big key is how they exit their zone, how they play in the middle of the ice, the area in between the 2 blue lines. Very rarely there's isolation. There's a lot of support. Once they have the puck, they think about one thing, and it's heading towards the offensive zone. And for the New Jersey Devils, Doc, it's way below the goal line. They did a wonderful job in a prior series against the New York Rangers. The Rangers covered a lot lower than the LA Kings will, but they used the area below the goal line. Outnumbering situations, a lot of 2-on-1s, a lot of situations where they're winning physical battles. Go back to Game 5, win a battle, great pass, and the puck ends up in the back of the net. So looking at both these teams, Doc, creative offensive players, lots of offensive opportunities, a lot of chances. Whether they score or not, I don't know, but I expect a lot of offense for both these teams.
Great fun is coming. The players will arrive. The anthem will be sung, and then we will start game number 1.
No, I mean, it's hard to really explain. A lot of fans have been waiting a long time.
The New Jersey Devils have won the Stanley Cup.
having that moment would be unbelievable.
He really probably couldn't put into words what it would mean.
Here's a shot, folks, that you're going to see over and over again.
Make sure everybody gets in there. That's important.
The team picture, the fresh one. This is the night we did it.
The waiting is almost over for both these teams. The top 8 make the playoffs in each conference from January 6th to the end of the year. The team you see there, led by Marty Brodeur, the New Jersey Devils, were in the top 8, and he steps out onto the ice. Checkered season, coaching change, little offense until the end. With 6 games left, they were not even in the top 8. They are now, and they've gotten through to the final, the Los Angeles Kings. In the lineups tonight are only 4 Kings and only 4 Devils who have ever gotten their name on the Stanley Cup before. There has to be nervousness with the others, but an anticipation of 2 teams that play about the same way. That will be in an arm wrestling contest as to who can dictate the terms at the start. To the ice, Pierre Maguire, Devils captain Zach Parise.
Thanks very much, Doc. They've yet to lose a road game. How do you plan on changing that tonight?
Well, we got to do what we've been doing this whole playoffs. We got to get our forecheck going. Can't turn the puck over on them and make their D work.
You're very familiar with Jonathan Quick. What's the key to beating Jonathan Quick?
Same as every goalie in the league. You try to get rebounds, make it tough for him, screen him, get in front of him. You got to challenge them.
Have a blast for this playoff series.
One last moment where all of this energy has to be harnessed. It is at that moment that country is saluted. They do it well here. The color guard is already out. Let's hear the voice of PA announcer Kevin Clark.
Fans, please rise as the Maguire Air Force Base Honor Guard presents tonight's colors. And now to honor America, especially the brave men and women serving our nation throughout the world, please join in the singing of our national anthem performed tonight by our Let.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Arlette and the Star-Spangled Banner. Milford, Connecticut is not far from here. You see his name as both a pronoun and a verb describing how he plays. Jonathan Quick. Best goals against average and save percentage. No one is even close. Marty Brodeur, a legend. living at 40, 200th playoff game tonight, 189th in a row, and he is proudest of the 4 assists that he has gotten to set another record for a goalie this past spring. This is the first time that we have 2 American captains leading their teams into a Stanley Cup final. Zach Parise, born in Minneapolis for the Devils. Dustin Brown, native of Ithaca, New York for the Kings. Teammates on the U.S. Olympic team that got the silver in Vancouver. And Dustin Brown captains a team that has not lost away from home yet in this playoff year. 8 in a row, another league playoff record. Eddie Olczyk, what do you expect off this faceoff?
I expect both teams want to get to their game, sustain the pressure, get on the body early and often.
At 8 seconds, the chant begins. Zajac fed, Parise carried, but offside stops the clock. Daryl Sutter, part of an illustrious family of NHL players, many of whom have had coaching positions after. And Peter DeBoer, who coached most recently in Florida, took the job this past summer and wound up defeating Florida when the last 2 games needed an overtime win. His team got them both. And on through Philadelphia and the New York Rangers. Only 14 games have been played by these Kings. Not very many. Tip back down. Drew Doughty goes back to take it. He and Rob Scuderi, one of the Cup winners from Pittsburgh, are on the defense, and Scuderi led it ahead. Carried back on by Jeff Carter, fed it on to Richards, but yet again we have another offside entering the zone.
It'll be interesting to watch the LA Kings, how they use their partnerships on defense in terms of moving the puck out of their own zone. It's a lot of defense to defense and then through the middle. You don't see them just going defense right up the wall. They really use their partners well.
Such a key part to any team's ability to be able to create instead of always chasing the puck, with that confidence of being able to move it to your partner and then making the right decision through the middle of the ice.
Off of Bryce Salvador, it's Carter to get it. Carter and Salvador have crossed sticks a number of times in some of those rivalries with Philadelphia and icing. Get live NBC national games right on your Verizon 4G LTE smartphone with Verizon 4G LTE NHL Game Center Premium. Call ** NHL to download today, only from Verizon. This is the 4th faceoff in the first 65 seconds. I don't know if it has anything to do with nerves. Both teams have, as mentioned earlier, become well rested in this. The Devils had 5 days off before they got to the conference final and 3 after. And the Kings had a week or a little more in both. Led back ahead for a pass off of Jared Stoll and back in where Marty Brodeur handles from the trapezoid to the stick of Peter Harold. Harold led it on. Checked down was Jacob Josephson. Pitched on back and in by Trevor Lewis. So it is Anton Volchenkov run into by Lewis. Centering pass, kicked away and is reached by Elias. Battled for by Stoll. Lifted back out and taken on by Clarkson. Slings it in and goes back to get it. And icing is called.
A good play there by former LA King defenseman Peter Harold. Now with the Devils, made a real good play to take away time and space from the pass from Stoll to Lewis in that high slot area.
If either of these teams gets their way, what should we see in terms of that forecheck you were mentioning?
Well, I mean, I think just speed through the middle of the ice. Not a lot of speed right now. Both teams doing a really good job defensively. But I think that's more for LA, and I think for the Devils playing below the goal line. Support, pressure, physicality, and then having that ability to be able to make plays from below the goal line.
Pinching is Scuderi. That one pushed past him. Goes down the ice, and guess what we have? Defensive side of the center red line, over the end line, and touched by a member of the non-offending team, icing. It's time for Inside the Glass, and here's Pierre.
Well, right now you see both teams trying to feel their way through the first 3 minutes of this game, but I think the biggest thing is the aggressive nature of the Los Angeles Kings. If you haven't watched them play, strong side defensemen pitch a lot, and they're trying to create a lot by being aggressive.
David Clarkson motors ahead, lost it to the reach of Alec Martinez, and then it is fired back around where it can curl on to Matt Green. A couple of Michigan-born defensemen out there together. Martinez played that one out, that is tapped right back on again. Ryan Carter run into by Green. On to center where Payne had trouble and then recovered and pushed it back in. Matt Green out of the University of North Dakota. As a freshman, his roommate was Zach Parise, captain of the New Jersey Devils. Pushed on back. Thrown back on by Martinez, and then it went off of Fraser, and then kicked back in, and we get another stoppage of play on an offside.
When we talk about the positioning of the LA Kings, they're going to move this puck side to side, but watch the play here by Colin Fraser, fourth line center iceman, former Chicago Blackhawk. Perfect passing, and this is something that has really changed under Daryl Sutter since taking over for Terry Murray, who did a wonderful job of really teaching this team how to defend. But I think the support that the forwards have given the defense have made the world of difference under Daryl Sutter, and he really emphasizes that support coming out of the zone.
Justin Williams tried to work free with that one. It had to be settled down by Scuderi. Williams, another Stanley Cup winner, having gotten the empty net clincher in Game 7 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Centering pass in front, and a try there was blocked off on the attempt by Brown. It's cleared back down, and out of his net to get it is Jonathan Quick.
Giveaway there by Marek Zidlitsky.
Good pressure by the Kings on the forecheck.
Turned around was Williams. Brown can swoop further. Salvador plays it back out. Run into was Parise by Brown. The two captains collide. Brown has often led the entire league in hits in the course of regular seasons. Fired ahead now and deflected back on by big Dustin Penner. Penner, a hero with 2 winning goals, tried to work that one ahead, but Ponikarovsky said no. And the former Toronto Maple Leaf tries to jam it on further before Jeff Carter took it away and laid it on back. Willie Mitchell, the ex-Devil, brings it ahead. Hawked there by Kovalchuk. It's passed up the wing now and plumbed back across for Penner, who sets it up to Richard. Richard's shot kicked off a skate. Came in front where it is Kovalchuk, seeing it at center, taken away by Mitchell, and laid again back across.
Richards was not anticipating that play by Dustin Penner after he received the pass from Jeff Carter. Richard just kind of stood still at the blue line, cost him a couple feet and a clear opportunity.
Jammed along by Quick back up the boards, and Volchenkov could not stop that. A big all goes up from the crowd, and Brodeur hurries it on now to Harold. Led back on for Patrick Elias. Elias held and flung it off the glass. All-time leading playoff scorer for the Devils is 26 in red, who goes to the front as this is thrown behind, and Clarkson has it. Tucks it on for Elias, but neatly cut by Jarrett Stoll. Popped out in front, and it is Matt Green. And Green able to send one ahead that is carried right back in and held there by Stoll, and a shot is blocked away by Harold. David Clarkson got it as far as center, and Stoll wrapped it back across. And deflects it back in, coming to the bench for yet another change. So 5 minutes has passed here. It says in the hockey cliche book that the first 10 minutes are always dangerous when you're the road team. But look at this steal by Carter, bringing it back, let it up the wing, and all of this is going to be called back on a whistle that is blown so hard that many of the fans could not hear it.
Now, Dustin Brown, we talked about the aggressive nature of the LA Kings. Zidlitsky doesn't handle the puck well. Williams takes away the D-to-D pass, and there's Dustin Brown jamming Marty Brodeur.
A good stick there by Marty Brodeur, and then the big hit, puck in the area. Dustin Brown on Zach Parise.
People better get used to that on the New Jersey Devils side of things. Dustin Brown's the most ferocious physical forward, I believe, in the National Hockey League when it comes to delivering big shoulder-to-shoulder and chest-to-chest hits.
Raised in upstate New York and went into Guelph, Ontario, Canada to play junior hockey. This is blocked down now off of Payne. Came on out to Andy Green, who dropped it back in, and this is settled down by Slava Voinov. Tipped back along by Steven Gianta and around behind. Can be corralled there by Mitchell. Former Minnesota Wild player slept it ahead, and it is Fraser handing back on to Jordan Nolan. Dips the shoulder, holds, and flops it around behind. Brad Richardson could not handle that one.
Another bouncing puck in behind the net.
Played back in by Bernier. Again, Voinov. Go to the boards, and it popped free where it could be played back on by Andrei Kopitar. Popped up high and knifed on back. Now Quick works the other way. Good forecheck by Parise. Puck popped up there. Zubris lobbed one in front, fought off by Quick, and then he covers, and play is stopped. A shot apiece, none in. John Hancock presents pivotal moments. You want your last game to be your best. It was the most thrilling for both of these teams. Dustin Fenner clinches with an overtime winner in Phoenix in Game 5. And out of a nest-mouth scramble, Adam Henrique clinched the series in overtime against the New York Rangers in 6.
Henrique, 2 of his 3 goals in these playoffs, both overtime winners. Series clinchers. You mentioned Doc earlier, beating the Florida Panthers in round 1.
Look at this, left behind though by Williams, or he might have had something going with a 2-on-1 that was developing. Brown wanted to take Zidlitsky into the first row, but had to settle for boards and glass. It happens, fortunes of war. Taken along now by Ponikarovsky and slung ahead now for Kovalchuk, wanting to go by. Nice defensive play made by Drew Doughty, and it's rattled on around by Brown and tipped back out again by Williams. So 6.5 play. What do you think so far?
Feeling off process for sure.
Seems like it, doesn't
it? Yeah, and this area in between the blue lines has really been kind of the where a lot of the puck has been. So that says that both teams are doing a good job away from the puck.
Zajac gave it to the back. Green a shot, and that one blocked to the corner.
Ubers almost got a redirect off that shot.
That was a great read by Andy Green.
Played around behind by Zajac, run off by Mitchell, but he persists and works to the outside, dropping it on back, but Mitchell got there, cleared it on back, held there by Green. His shot deflected well wide, played by Zubris, run in too heavily there by Fraser, to the back to Fane, given across to Green. A wrister is blocked out in front. Helped on out now for the carry-on by Penner. Big man lobs it along and goes to work on a smaller defenseman in Green. Green able to one-hand it to Fane. Back up the boards to Elias. Couldn't clear out. Matt Green a shot, and that one tangled in players at the circle and dug out by Elias. Elias able to motor ahead. Team's in the midst of a change. Elias dips the shoulder and holds and spins one that was tipped away by Martinez. Then on back deeper, Elias went to get it. Whacked at there, but he's able to get it back to the point for Bolchenkov. Then Elias yet again. Dave of the Czech Republic gave it along to David Clarkson, but he was defended well by Green. Very aggressive work in deep. Stole this time. Away from Chianta, it came along for Clarkson. Pivots, drags, is knocked down, and right back ahead, the Kings can bring it. Trevor Lewis back up the wing. Shook it along now for a jammed play by King that's blocked aside. King and Nolan are huge guys called up in early February from the Manchester Monarchs of the American Hockey League, and immediately they added size to this team that really wasn't wanting for size in the first place. They are huge wingers. 6'3", about 220 pounds to 230 pounds apiece.
And they can really get in on the forecheck.
This one is thrown in front, and that went off Drew Doughty. Whacked right back along again, and it went off Brown, and it's played back in deep, and turning with it is Carter. Carter muscles it behind. It went away from Josephson, dragged free into traffic by Brown, pushed on to Kopitar, and led back across where Doughty can start it back ahead. Drew Doughty at center, crisply on to Kopitar, up the wing to Brown. Brown run into by Zidlitsky. Played along by Williams. Close quarters to Kopitar. Williams goes to the corner. Locks up there with Bernier. Played back to Williams and gotten on back to the point where it's shoved over to Mitchell. Mitchell a drive, and that one blocked off the glass. Carried back out again by Carter. Nine and a half played. The shot board shows one each. Brought ahead now by Richardson. Spun there. Looking along for Fraser, but that escapes to center.
What a play by Mark Fane, going really hard after Richardson to get that puck up and out of the zone. Mark Fane, an underappreciated player for the Devils all playoff season.
Nolan mashes into Green. Nolan got a quick trigger pull. Score! The Kings have struck first. It is Fraser, and it's 1-0.
And he found money, fourth line scoring off an aggressive forecheck play for the Kings.
Well, the Devils know about that from the prior series with the Gianta fourth line, but puck gets in. We talked about the ability of the LA Kings to get in on a forecheck. Good hit there by Jordan Nolan. Support by Richardson, a quick little pass. Not a good goal given up by Marty Brodeur.
Yeah, that's pretty tough slot coverage. Frazier did a great job getting himself available and away from Travis Zajac. Andy Green goes down off that aggressive forecheck play, but look at Frazier. He just pops out and he doesn't waste any time. One-timer right through Marty Brodeur.
Did not play in the Stanley Cup Final for the Chicago Blackhawks a couple of years ago when they beat the Philadelphia Flyers, and Frazier gets an opportunity and quick play below the goal line. Great support out by Frazier and had Brodeur in between. It almost seemed on that replay is that he was going down. He fanned his stick out and went right past his stick when he was on his way down from the shot from Frazier.
Harold tried to play it ahead, bodied off the puck, but then the good follow-through from Henrique along to Kovalchuk, twisted back out again, and the Kings start to flex some muscle. Turn back onto Kovalchuk again. Trouble play at center ice. Muscled along was Harold by Penner, followed through by Richards. Richards hunted down by Harold. Richards able to get it to the back. Point off a shot, and that one deflected wide. Played along by Richards again. Former captain of the Philadelphia Flyers led it behind. Penner jostled there. Continues to battle with Volchenkov and throws him down. Pivoting to the outside, it's led back by Carter. Richards with a shot. High save made by Brodeur on his mask. Laid in deep and another deflection. Off Carter went wide. Dragged along by Richards. Played on to Carter. Carter turning up the half boards. Sees this one broken up, and it can be lugged back out again by Harold and rattled back in and crashing the boards is Quick. Quickly turns it over there for Mitchell. Lobbed on back to center, and it's King playing it in. Starting to see some of that speed of the Los Angeles Kings here. Meanwhile, this one comes up now for a play by Clarkson. He's hit. Elias able to feed it on to Josephson. Back to Elias. Drops it to Salvador. To Clarkson. Off the glass with the shot. Played back on by Elias, and it must be settled down by Zidlitsky, who blasted angrily back in, slowed by Quick and taken by Green.
What a chance for the Devils. Outstanding opportunity. David Clarkson had Quick down, wasn't able to hit the net. There was a lot of room up top on Jonathan Quick, just missed the net.
This one floated on and knifed down. Kopitar tries to move ahead. Payne stymied him at the half boards. Puck squibbed to center. And it must be played on back by Scuderi. Just the careful slide of it across to Drew Doughty, and then back to Rob Scuderi again. Directed back in by Kopitar. Striding after it is Williams. Bangs into Payne. Andy Green out of Miami University played that one back out. Doughty took over there. 7 3/4 minutes to go, and a chance, and a save made by Brodeur and Dustin Brown. Then he bumps into Brodeur, and there will be a penalty coming up to the Kings. Or maybe not. Palms are upturned by Payne, but it is Brown who will go to the box. Power play New Jersey when we come back. Edward Jones presents FaceTime. Pierre is with Devils coach Peter DeBoer.
This is a little bit of a different animal compared to the New York Rangers. How do you break down their aggressive forecheck?
Well, we've got to get on our toes. Obviously, it's not the start we wanted. They're dictating right now. I think we can do a better job executing, coming out of our end. We're not making any plays, so we'll get better.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
What an opportunity. Dustin Brown, great chance. Then he follows up. Marty Brodeur feels the contact, falls right back. Brodeur certainly knew what he was doing there with the contact from Brown.
Lifted along by Mitchell. Brown, one of the better shorthanded players that the Kings have. He has connected with 2 shorthanded goals, plus 3 more shorthanded assists, and he's in the box on the goalie interference minor.
Good strong play there by Willie Mitchell.
Mitchell out of Clarkson. Sees this pass. Now develop across to Kovalchuk. Rams it back in, and Quick is quickly there to get it and force it back off the boards. All the way to the back. Zidlitsky pumped it on. Controlled by Parise. Then Zidlitsky's got Kovalchuk to his left, and that's where he goes with it. Inside the box, Zajac. It's Zidlitsky across now to Parise. Grips and hands for the feed to Zajac, and a save is made by Quick.
Eddie, that's got to be upstairs, doesn't it, against Jonathan Quick?
The only place you can score on him.
Parise gave it back. Zidlitsky with it there, and a shot. Save Quick, and he's able to hang on.
Good, quick puck movement. Puck is going to move down, and then it's going to pop right back out into Travis Zajac. But as Pierre makes mention, look at Quick, he's down. You cannot shoot the puck 3 feet and down. It's got to be 3 feet and up. And you got to shoot over his shoulder. You cannot shoot in the middle of the body or down low.
And the big thing for Jonathan Quick, don't give up second chance opportunities. He did a great job fighting through that screen by Patrick Elias and not giving up a second chance opportunity.
Devils love that play right off the sideboard, off to the guy off the side of the net by Jonathan Quick, and then find that soft little area in the coverage. Great execution by getting the shot, but not upstairs, not high enough.
Doughty and Zubras canceled. Fed back on now to Clarkson. Dropped it behind for Henrique, pinching along as Harold to keep play alive, but it's speared loose and cleared neatly by Scuderi.
Trademark of all Daryl Sutter coach teams, Eddie and Doc, penalty killing. Always aggressive, always in your face, and they frustrate you.
And for the Devils, if you're going to face that, then you got to change sides to relieve the pressure. Move it from one side of the ice to the other. They can't cover the whole sheet of ice with only 4 guys out there. So get it to one side, move it all the way other, more direct than anything else. If it's around the boards, that's when they're going to pressure.
Clarkson was hit by Green. Puck left in front, knifed away, but Clarkson got it back again. On now to Harold. Harold flipped one on, directed by Elias behind the Zubras. Rocked there by Green. 2 seconds and 1. Brown is out of the box. Zubras has the puck. Leads it to the back to Harold. Swatted it on, fearing Brown because Brown was going to challenge and maybe steal and have a chance the other way. Zubras a shot. Blocked down and cleared back out again by Matt Green. Penalty box empty, so we have an icing.
Green shaken up. Green shaken up a little bit after that block shot.
And he's an important part of their defense, but it's defense to defense that really helps the Los Angeles Kings. They utilize their partners so well when it comes to coming out of their own zone, and that's what makes it so slick. You'll just see D to D, break it down, find guys in the neutral zone, and it works so well for the LA Kings, and it allows Jonathan Quick not to face as many second chance and third chance opportunities.
And here's that shot blocked by Matt Green. He eventually iced that puck. But since he was injured, he was allowed to make the change.
Off this tie-up, it's nudged behind for Mitchell by Doughty. Then on to Brown, run into by Ponikarovsky, poked along by Fane of New Jersey, and regathered by Doughty again.
Green standing in the runway in behind the LA Kings players bench.
Coming by to get it now and swing it back in as Bernier, and so it's Quick yet again, watching. What are you noticing, Eddie?
Yeah, Green's now back, Doc.
Okay. Quick healer. Pumped along now by Fraser. Too far for Williams. Handed across for Zidlitsky, who walks it on back, sized up by Scuderi there. Tried to poke it through. Boy, what a quick stick. A couple of times we've seen from Rob Scuderi. Now darting back in is Kovalchuk. He crosses. Fed one in front. That was a stick pass, bounced off Carter, who recovers. Carter flipped one on further. Ryan Carter of the Devils taken away now. Dealt back in deep. Kovalchuk fed one that was blocked away by Scuderi. Poked along though by Salvador.
Hey, they got to start putting pucks on goal. The Devils are being too nice right now.
Kovalchuk's got to shoot that puck.
Staggering free with this was Williams, poked away by Brodeur. And the Devils can swarm to this and throw it, but right off of Richards. Battled around there and poked along by Gianta, settled down and then lost by Voinov, carried ahead by Kovalchuk, moves along with it and hands on to Carter. To Kovalchuk there, through one that was blocked down. Good defensive play again by Mitchell, played along by Harold, stopped by Mitchell, and Mitchell is able to give it across, and Zajac quickly on the forecheck on Voinov. Voinov has it again. Second-year pro, was one of the American Hockey League's All-Stars last year. He steps ahead and played that one along off big Dustin Penner and in where Brodeur must collar it. 3:40 to go, first period, and the shots are 4-3 in favor of the Kings. The lone goal, Fraser, his first of the playoffs from Nolan. Scuderi gave it back. Doughty played it off the stick of Penner. Brodeur scooped that one up and forces it along past Parise to center. And again back in.
Well, we heard Mike Milbury and Keith Jones talk about it in the pregame show about the ability of Marty Brodeur to be able to handle the puck for the Kings, to keep it away from him, not allowing him to be like a third defenseman out there.
Trouble for Quick there, crossed up a bit by Travis Zajac, but now it's out to center for Green. And this may be an icing. It is. Eddie Olczyk scored 342 goals playing in the NHL, and you are saying shoot high on this guy quick.
You have to. There's no choice but to get the puck up on Jonathan Quick.
NBCSports.com, StanleyCup.com. Go to Pro Hockey Talk. Want to chat? Do that with our experts. And you will be told, shoot hard.
If you are, you better hit the net.
Never a bad play. Green a shot, and that one blocked, went well wide of Brodeur. Battled for by Martinez. Thrown back off the glass and all the way out. Matt Green holds and passes off Martinez. Grand Ledge to Rochester Hills in the state of Michigan. Picked up now by Brown and lobbed back. Cranked right back along by Salvador, and then he's run into by Brown. What did Brown do for you? Man, he hits everybody. Lifted back along further and out of play into the Kings bench area, and the faceoff will remain near Quick. 2:22 to go, first period. Fraser has the lone goal for these Kings.
It's been 34 years since the Triple Crown was won. June 9th, will history be made once again? That's Doug O'Neill, the trainer of I'll Have Another. Looking to do it. The Belmont Stakes, part of the NBC Sports Championship season. Coverage begins June 8th on the NBC Sports Network and continues June 9th on NBC. Good luck to Doug, Mario Gutierrez, Mr. Redham, the owner of I'll Have Another.
This is one back to Salvador. Fire save, quick rebound. Oh, and how did that not go for Clarkson? Quick was down, Clarkson went high. Jammed on back.
Right idea. Big time rebound there. Good shot by Bryce Salvador, and Clarkson's had two of the best chances in this period. And both he's airmailed up and over the net.
Loose at center. Ponikarovsky saw it slung on back to Salvador. Everyone looking for it. Jeff Carter signaled and is yelling at the linesman that it had gone out of play. But anyway, this is handled on back, and Penner is able to flop one back into the Devils' end of the ice for Volchenkov to play further. Second effort, he played it, but right into Penner. A stray stick there to add to the confusion, and ahead comes Henrique. Lobbed it back on for Kovalchuk, and Kovalchuk spiked it off the boards behind, where Scuderi touched it along. Harold rifled one in front, ricocheted off Henrique, and had to be moved on by Quick. Oh, and Henrique rolls his man along the fence. Pulling away from that is Trevor Lewis, and he comes to the bench. 1:15 to go, first period. Shots are 5-4 New Jersey, but the Kings are leading 1-0 on the goal by Fraser. And Fraser with this puck away from the reach of Zach Parise, and this comes on to be pumped on further by Nolan. Bouncing puck is settled down, dragged free, and then spirited up the boards for the take by Parise from Zubris. Given on a cross now for Fane. Tried to rifle it back in and fanned on it, and then popped it in, and it was an offside.
Well, what an opportunity. Here's David Clarkson, and the shot's going to come to the point from Bryce Salvador, but watch Clarkson. Comes in, subtle little screen. Here comes the rebound. Watch this, right up and over Jonathan Quick, who was down.
Willie Mitchell's stick gets in the skate, gets in the way of that too. So David Clarkson, the right idea, trying to elevate it, but it clearly goes off of Mitchell's stick just before it leaves, or right after it leaves his stick.
Fane tossed it out of play. It ricocheted out from center off of King, so the faceoff will be back near Jonathan Quick.
Here, David Clarkson, had a chance to visit with him yesterday at Media Day and just talked about the forecheck of the New Jersey Devils, of how important that second guy is to get in and help out and support and not have a lot of one-on-one isolations. You're David Clarkson. You keep going to those areas, you're going to get rewarded. You've had two of the best chances for your team in this first period. You can't get discouraged.
This is Kopitar bringing it on for the Kings, and a wrister blocked down by Brodeur, and the rebound is sent away by Andy Green. Carter played it as far as center. Given back across now for Scuderi to wrist back in. Brodeur could not reach that one. As he slided behind, it's pumped right back in where Fane can play it. Rattles it on around further, and run into there was Bernier. Reaching in is Giunta. Half-court battle in the last 5 seconds of this period. Horn will sound. And both teams had 5 shots in the first period. It's just that one by Colin Fraser went in for the Kings. It's been since October when they played a pair of games. So the snarl takes time. Coming up during the Discover Card intermission. Speaking of snarl, Keith and Mike are there. Good luck, Liam. With their top plays from the first period. Plus, we'll hear from Martin Brodeur on highs and lows of his career. That's during the Discover Card intermission. We mentioned the shots at 5-5. Dustin Brown, the only penalty, goalie interference at 12-19. Fraser from Nolan alone at 9:56. It's in the books for now. Game 1 of the final, 1-0 Kings.
Welcome to your Discover Card Intermission Report. Jordan Nolan's got his first career postseason assist. Colin Fraser has his first career postseason goal. And just like that, it is 1-0 Kings. Hey everyone, Liam McHugh alongside Mike Milbury and Keith Jones. Coming into this game, we're talking a lot about the battle of the forecheck. In the first period, I think you'd have to say advantage LA.
No question about it. They're not going to change anything. They got here by forechecking hard and making sure that they caused some turnovers, and that's what happened after they got their legs about 10 minutes in to this first period. You can see it pretty clearly here. They're not afraid to send 3 guys deep below the goal line. Williams is here, Kopitar is there, Dustin Brown is out front patrolling around after they gain control of it, and they'll get it back to the point. Good movement there. Mitchell gets the shot through with traffic in net. This is a textbook version of this, where Nolan comes in, strips the puck from an undersized defenseman, feeds it out to Fraser, who buries it. It looked like it was going to start to be all Kings here. When they get the forecheck going, you can do things like this. Richards turns it back and gets it back to the point, low to high. This one stalls the momentum. Put a little mustard on this hot dog, Marty. That is embellishment. Extraordinarily well done by Marty to stop these guys from carrying on the play offensively.
Dustin Brown's a man who's been accused of embellishing once or twice in his career. You think he looked at Marty and said, "Stop stealing my moves"?
No, you can see the reaction. He got his hand caught in the cookie jar, but Bro did a great job, and that did stall the LA Kings.
About midway through the period, Peter DeBoer told Pierre that his team simply wasn't making plays. How do they counteract this forecheck?
Well, they started to execute a little bit better right after that interview. So whatever the message Peter DeBoer is sending to his players, I thought they clicked in and really started to do some smart things. Early it was Brodeur. We knew he handles the puck well and makes good decisions with it. Right here, a little backhand pass to Peter Harold, and the Devils are out of the zone. Again, Brodeur patiently draws the forward towards him, gets the puck to Volchenkov, and a stretch pass enables the Devils to get the puck in deep. Bernier here after a nice feed from Mark Fain gets the red line, chips it in. That's how you start to establish your forecheck. Defensively here, they started to close the gap a little bit quicker and started to chip back pucks to the neutral zone. And then on the rush here, some beautiful passing from the Devils, creating their best quality opportunity in the period. Clarkson just wires that puck high and over the net, and then Clarkson again gets a puck in the slot area and puts that one over top of the net. More chances for the Devils over the last 5 minutes of the period. If you're Peter DeBoer, you want to see a lot more of that in the second period.
Coming up, we'll hear from New Jersey's goalie, 4 decades into life and 1 period into his 5th Stanley Cup final.
Pressure on yourself, and then you just leave it all out. This is the ultimate dream. It's to play for a Stanley Cup.
Welcome back to your Discover Card intermission. According to reports, during the 1994 Eastern Conference Final, an 8-year-old kid from Connecticut named Jonathan Quick was rooting against Martin Brodeur as he took on the New York Rangers. 18 years later, Quick is going head-to-head with Brodeur, a 40-year-old future Hall of Famer with 3 Stanley Cup rings.
I got to choose from 3 Stanley Cup night, but I think my first one in '95 was unexpected. Played a Detroit team that was really, really good, and we were able to sweep them. It was kind of they're going to wake up at one time and start getting back in the series, and they never did. And next thing you know, we're hoisting the cup over our head. So that was probably the most of the thrill that was.
How has hockey changed since your Stanley Cup run in 2003?
Hockey's wide open now. You know, I think one of the things, and you see that a lot in these playoffs, there's never a lead that's safe anymore. And in 03, that was different. We had a 1-goal lead, the game was over. But now, I mean, we've lost the 3-0 lead, a 2-0 lead. I mean, name it. We've done it all these playoff series. You know, that's what makes it so hard. You know, and it makes it fun because you're never out of a game and you're never safe in a game also.
There's a lot of speculation that win or lose, you're not going to play anymore. You're going to keep playing?
I think I will. I'm really enjoying this ride. I think if you asked me that question last year at the same time, there's a good chance I would say, well, next year is my last year. But right now, I'm really enjoying it. And regardless if I win or not, there's a really good chance I'll be back.
To be a Hall of Fame goaltender, you have to have a short memory. How quickly is Brodeur going to want to forget about that first goal?
Very quickly. And this was a great forecheck by the LA Kings, but not a great goal all in all. And I think he's going to want this one back, and obviously can't have it back because the LA Kings have put it on the board. Nolan gets in deep here and strips the defenseman of the puck right out front of Frazier. Just a quick release. Marty's got that 5-hole separate, but he tries to make up for it, Joe.
He does. He draws a penalty on Dustin Brown here. Clearly, Brodeur felt Brown's in front of the net, so he flopped down there and got the Devils on the power play. Just one of the many things that Brodeur can try to help his team get back in the game.
You'd hardly call that vicious.
No, it was not.
Not a ton of shots for either team still. The Kings lead this one 1-0. Second period action's coming at you next. Doc, Edzo, and Pierre have the call.
You've been watching the Discover Card Intermission Report. Brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to switch. It pays to discover.
Back here at Prudential Center in Newark, the Enterprise first period statistics, the shots on goal were 5 apiece. Chances at 5-3 Los Angeles. 30 hits and 10 shots. All right by me. Kopitar won 5 of 7 faceoffs. He was the best. He is with Los Angeles the most hits. 4 by the Kings' Matt Green. The Stanley Cup Final on NBC is brought to you by Audi. Audi, truth in engineering. By Verizon, stay connected with the Droid Razr by Motorola. By Subway Restaurants, it's avocado season, only at Subway. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Inside the Rock. Welcome back to the Stanley Cup Final, presented by Geico. No carryover penalties nor power plays. From 20 referees and linesmen to 12 to 8 to now just 4 for the Stanley Cup Finals. The lone goal scorer is Colin Frazier. The lone penalty to Dustin Brown. That's it. Dan O'Halloran, Brad Watson are the referees. Derek Amell, Johnny Murray are the linesmen. They arrive at the Stanley Cup Final just as the teams do on merit. Directed back in by Elliott. Stopped by Quick. Laid ahead for Doughty. Spun further for Williams. Spiked away, but right in stride for Kopitar. Sized up by Green, able to twirl by. Jammed one-handedly around to Brown, then to the back Scuderi. Hurried shot went well wide. Elias pivots, wanted to lay it back, but Doughty pitched it on. Shoulder there by Brown on Green. Brown fed one in front, oh, and that one blocked off. Played along by Brown, guided back by Kopitar, and having to retreat is Scuderi.
What a good effort there by Dustin Brown. Win a physical battle and get the puck to the front of the net.
And Andy Green was ready for it too, Edzo. Dustin Brown just muscled him.
This one jabbed on back. Zidlitsky able to poke one that squibs back down. Icing his way off. Oh, and Quick had to twirl it around now where Scuderi is able to slide it back for the kick by Penner. The carry by Richards. Richards waltzed off there and canceled out by Zubris. Then it's thrown right back into the pile. Reaching in was Zidlitsky. Poked on now for Penner. Sent one in front to Carter, and that blocked off by Salvador. Jeff Carter, a multiple 40-goal scorer in his time, had a good chance there. Laid back along now for the play back out again from Richards. Grabbed off by Salvador. It careened across for Harold to slide across, and it is just dumped right back in by Mitchell. icing is waved off.
You mentioned that play by Bryce Salvador to take away the chance from Jeff Carter. Dustin Penner did a great job of getting that pass to Carter.
Guided in by Henrique. Voinov able to angle it right ahead. Stoll brings it on. Stoll with one that was steered wide by Harold. And Harold able to get that one after Volchenkov, his defense partner, was hit by a pair. Carried on by Ponikarovsky. Voinov with a good play on him as that one was skied along where Henrique played behind, and Voinov drubbed it back up the boards where it can be carried on and back out by Jarrett Stoll. Deflected on back now. Moving on with it and throwing one was King. Punt to the side by Brodeur. Burrowing in is Stoll. Challenged by Ponikarovsky. To a side, and the fifth player, Harold, is able to rattle it back off. Martinez able to hold on there and give across to Green. Green a drive, and that one booted right back out, and hurt on the play is Henrique. He will try to get to the bench in the midst of this change as Ponikarovsky brings it on. Is just bumped a bit by Nolan after he sent that one back in. Rolled back ahead, and Fraser pumped it back in deep. Richardson cancels out there. Lots of players pour back in. Nolan tried to work further. It's squibbed behind where Green can take over. Bernier sent it on, homing for Giunta.
That puck's got to get in deep if you're Steve Bernier.
He heard Nolan coming and he was saying, not today. I'm just going to bail out of this one. He's got to fight through that.
Richardson tried to center, slammed there by Green. More battling of the boards. Kings are a large team. Devils are experienced. Half the Devils in the lineup tonight are in their 30s. Kings are a younger team, but they are slightly bigger. And in some cases, a lot bigger. Here is Kopitar bringing it on. Backhanded one, closed off by Brodeur. Rebound, and that wouldn't go for Williams. Now taken by Kopitar, angled on back, and Drew Doughty must play at center.
Boy, not a good rebound there by Marty Brodeur. Good idea by Kopitar to just throw it to the front of the net. Kicked it right into the slot with Williams right there.
Shoveled back by Doughty, walked on by Brown. Brown crosses, let it across for a shot. Oh, and Carter was trying it, went off the glove of Brodeur. Brought on by Parise, tries to get through, turned around by Doughty. Mitchell gets there. Fans wanted a penalty on Doughty for restraining. Oh, and Zubras barreled into his man. Just getting back to his feet now is Carter, who was plowed into by Zubras. Head onto the back. The Let's Go Devils chant beginning as Harold gave it across. Fed on to Clarkson, and his shot was deflected back away by Green, and then Green sent Clarkson down to the ice. Physical play is picking up Salvador. Turned it onto the stick of Clarkson, rifled it back across with a carry back on by Harold, and jabbed on the backhand in deep. No icing on this play, as Quick had to wait for it to come inside the trapezoid. Rifled back out again by Jeff Carter, taken on by Penner. Penner to the outside, slid it harmlessly to the corner, but it bounced right on for Richards. Then Josephson, run into by Richards. It was 30 hits in the first period and 10 shots. And the hit total again is much higher. Only 2 shots this period, both by the Kings. Swung in front, and that guided away by Jonathan Quick.
Devils can't get any time in the offensive zone. Big hit there, Bernier on Lewis.
Lewis is shaken up on the play, remains there, limping around a bit. It's played back up to him. It's the way it always happens, isn't it? Lewis tried to get it out as far as center, and that one popped right back in again, and Green has it.
Yeah, he did a good job there to fight through it, and now he makes a beeline for the bench.
Handed across, and here's stolen drive, and that one deflected up out of play.
Doc, that last shot that by Jarrett Stoll went up into the third deck up here at the Rock. Here's a big hit, Dustin Brown on David Clarkson, pair of 23s.
Dinah Zuber steps right into Jeff Carter, and that started the hit parade for both teams.
Here's that play, Andre Kopitar just throwing this puck to the front of the net. Look where this puck comes out. Good back check there by Zach Parise, and then the big hit, Bernier on Lewis. It was off balance. He took a hit to make a play.
Trevor Lewis has gone down below, not at the bench area. Ponikarovsky tried to play this ahead, forced it out as far as Fraser, and then it's handed on back for Voinov to give on across to Willie Mitchell. Brodeur stops behind. Delays and played it safely along to Salvador. Yanked the pass ahead. Boy, the Kings have poured in deep here, and they're able to cause a turnover. Fraser popped it in deeper. Nolan is closed off there. Zidlitsky tried to play it on. That one careened off Richardson, but kicked back up for Ponikarovsky. Then off of Kovalchuk, who's able to knife it away and step back in. Kovalchuk defended away pretty well by Mitchell there. Played one to the circle, but that is outletted right back on to Brad Richardson, and he's able to rifle it back in. It went off Harold's stick and out of play. 13:46 to go. Second period. Only one goal. Only a dozen shots. Let's take a look at the Ford update. As you see, Colin Fraser, the native of Sicamous, British Columbia. He has his first career playoff goal. Dinah Zubris, a game-high 5 hits. Andrzej Kopitar has won 5 of 8 faceoffs. Native of Slovenia. In the town where he was born, it was originally Yugoslavia, but then things changed. The nation became known as Slovenia in that part.
And speaking of change, I'm sorry, Doc, and speaking of change, Peter DeBoer, the head coach of the Devils, you got to think maybe about changing up the lines a little bit. And now he's got David Clarkson with Josephson and Elias just to get something going. He only got 5 shots. You mentioned earlier, you don't have any shots in the second period. So the time to start trying to shake it up and give the LA Kings a little look and get a jump start on your offensive push.
Jeff Carter goes to work on Volchenkov, and the shot skipped off Volchenkov. The two of them cancel. Elias comes by. Mike Richards with it. Richards gave it back, and a hurried shot by Scuderi is grabbed and then paddled back into play by Brodeur. Josephson led it ahead. Clarkson trying to get there. Moves back in with Scuderi. Tried to leap out of the way. Was crunched anyway, and it's thrown by Doughty. Tipped back as far as Salvador. Scorer of the only shorthanded goal that the Devils have had in these playoffs. Bryce Salvador sees the play develop to quick. Then back along to Scuderi. Then Kopitar, but held and finessed back on by Zidlitsky, and then lost on out to center. Zidlitsky will drop back. Salvador will look after things and shrug this one down, and then be carried off by Kopitar. It's turned back over now for Justin Williams. Banged it right back in, and Brodeur to the trapezoid to hook it along with a big goal stick. Crunched there was Parise to the back. It's drubbed off the glove of Brodeur, and a changing direction shot from Williams.
Redirected there by Kopitar, was skating back on the back check, and Williams did a good job of pitching in and saving in for Boyanov.
Boyanov tried to play that one ahead, but banned on it. Zajac played it further, but Williams, or check back. That is Willie Mitchell taking over. Fired back along by Stoll, whacked on by Parise. Devils trying to generate a push here. Emily crunched off with Zajac, bounced off that and kept going. Wedged off pretty effectively that time. It's pushed behind as Boyanov sees. This one to be lobbed on and out by King. It is Andy Green. And then it's punched on back by King. Racing for it is Giunta. Mitchell able to jab it back onto King, and King rifled one back along that's tipped along by Nolan. Stoll tried to get there, took one of the Devils out of the play. There'll be a penalty coming up on the delayed call. It's checked off of Bernier, and now we'll get the call.
Well, the fourth line of the Devils do the job. Devils defense getting aggressive, trying to pinch in, keep the play alive, and there you see Ryan Carter has a step on Jarrett Stoll. He just kicks the legs out from under him.
Eddie, would you call that a slew foot?
I would probably call it more a trip here because he kind of led with his feet more than he did with his hands, and then bracing that knee or that skate in behind, which is kind of your old-fashioned slew foot. Pretty close, but I'd say a trip.
Daryl Sutter took over this team right before Christmas, 25, 13, and 11 in the regular season. And they were a road team down the stretch, playing 20 of their last 31 away from home, but fighting their way into the playoffs and doing it. Elias sees this underneath him. Help came from Zajac, closed off by Kopitar. Zajac jamming on further, and Parise looking for it to come free. Sniped on back, and Zidlitsky must play at center. Nearing the halfway point of game number 1. Shots are 9-5. Kings 4-0 in this period. Kings on the penalty kill. They've been terrific at it. Kopitar with a drive that knuckled and is played now by Kovalchuk. Slipped one ahead that's directed back by Jeff Carter's stick, but kept alive. Well, they rule a hand pass, and for that reason, play is stopped.
They go back to the power play. Now, look at the New Jersey Devils. They got one, they get two. They need to get Zach Parise in here, even if this defenseman needs a pinch in. And then once they get it, they got to change sides. Because right now, in this situation, you like it. Parise does a good job of coming all the way over, but the pressure penalty kill, as Pierre May mentioned in the first period, you have, in order to alleviate that, you got to move the puck from one side of the ice to the other. But the Kings wouldn't let the Devils off the board, so if the Kings have two guys on the puck, when they're shorthanded, the Devils need three. If they have three guys, you got to get that fourth guy in there. You can't be standing to the outside because the Kings will take that all night long.
Kovalchuk rifled this one across. Zubris brought it on. Pumped it back in deep. Matt Green to get it there. Drilled back along. Jeff Carter chopped it back out as far as center. And Harold will take over. He and Clarkson and Zubris are out on this power play.
Kovalchuk's got to do a better job there to come down on Carter. Just kind of took his time and glided down there. And Carter was able to chip it by him. Either go or don't go. Can't be in between.
Devils are trying too many stretch passes, too, and the Los Angeles Kings are making the right reads.
Off of Quick. Willie Mitchell chased off. Dragged along by Zubris. Zubris sent one on for Clarkson. Clarkson up the boards. Cleared off a stick to center, and on with it now comes Trevor Lewis. Shaken up earlier. Back there to let go a shot that is steered away by Kovalchuk, and it went out of play. Faceoff will remain near Brodeur.
I think Brodeur might have got a piece of this after the opportunity, Doug. I think it might have went off the shaft of the stick of Marty Brodeur. Trevor Lewis, skate right, shoot back left, off the stick, and yeah, off the knob of the stick of Marty Brodeur.
Eddie, when your power play's not going very well, usually that's when guys start to deviate from the plan, and clearly this isn't the same power play that we saw from the Devils earlier in the playoffs. They're deviating all the time now.
It's almost when you do struggle like this, it's get the puck to the red line. Everybody knows it, we're shooting it in. And then everybody can get down there and win those battles. And here they can't win the battle down low. Good play by Brown to Scuderi, just playing a little game of keep away here while they're one man short.
And drilled back down. Brown and Kopitar among the leaders in the playoffs in shorthanded goals. The Kings have more than anybody with a total of 5. And the Devils are guilty of icing here. So it'll be brought back near Brodeur with the penalty box empty. This fall, NBC has a new comedy. Matthew Perry is back. And he's starting over with a little help from these guys. Go On is coming Tuesdays this fall to NBC.
Big LA King fan, Matthew Perry.
No relation to Corey?
No.
Probably doesn't really appreciate the duck. Thrown along by Green, bounced off the back of the cage to the other Green.
He appreciates a great hockey player, though, I'm sure.
Does indeed.
Corey Perry.
Reaching in here is Bernier. It is on his stick and flopped on back for Martinez to work back over for a turnaround shot by Stoll, anticipated upon well by Andy Green, and then handed behind to Payne. Past the 31-minute mark in elapsed time in Game 1. Brodeur saw that one squib off his stick. It's played along by Payne, led to the back. Willie Mitchell drubbed it on, carried by Richards, handed back to Matt Green, and a shot went wide. Off of Bernier. And Matt Green will go back to play.
Oh, good play there by Mike Richards to get the puck back to Green.
Jeff Carter tries to swagger in, cannot. Zidlitsky reverses it on, pumped along by Josephson as far as center. Chopped back down, and there'll be an icing here.
Another different look here for the Devils with Josephson, Ponikarovsky, and Elias.
Go back inside the glass. Here's Pierre.
One of the things that's led to some frustration for the New Jersey Devils, the way Los Angeles is coming through the middle of the ice. New Jersey's got that vaunted forecheck. They can never establish it because the Los Angeles Kings defensemen recognize the outlet. The outlet's to the inside part of the ice because the Devils are taking the boards away. They've moved the puck well. The Devils right now only 5 shots on goal. They've been averaging 30 per game this playoff season.
None in a second.
None indeed. They had only 1 shot in the first 13 minutes of the first. Kind of a clumsy handoff there by Quick. Meanwhile, Henrique stepped into, but the puck comes onto the stick of Wojnoff. Shakes it ahead, and it's off the glove of Jeff Carter. Retrieved by Salvador. Carter got his body in the way, moves in and shoots that angle shot, but it was off Brodeur. Started ahead, Kovalchuk. Break for nicely. It's laid on to Elias, set up to Henrique, and a shot was blocked aside by Quick.
Good play there by Dustin Penner as well, Doc, on the back check. Real good play, good rush by the Devils.
Carter led it ahead. Kopitar brings it on, sized up by Salvador. Kopitar, big man, able to wheel behind, and then is able to keep it one-handedly. Along now for Williams. Williams trying to shake Harold. Steps out in front, led it to the back. Scuderia shot, and it's blocked by Brodeur. That's the halfway point of the game, 1-0 Kings. Here's Edward Jones FaceTime. Pierre is with Kings coach Daryl Sutter.
You've held them to 5 shots so far. We're halfway through the game in regulation. They usually average 30. What have you done?
Missed a lot of nets, a lot of time. We spent a lot of time in their zone trying to get through the first period. Did a good job. You got to hit the net more.
They're known as a tremendous forecheck team. What's been the key to you breaking down their forecheck?
I think both teams want to do that, so you got to be a good team in neutral. Don't turn the puck over.
Thanks a lot, Daryl.
Yeah, neutral, meaning the neutral zone, the area between the 2 blue lines. I think both teams have done a really good job of that. That's why we only got the 15 shots between the 2 teams. 10 of those by the LA Kings.
5-0 in this period. We're overhearing some of the chatter down from the ice, and it's a lot of teamwork chatter. I got him. Just communicating back and forth.
You've nailed that, Doc. Bang on. That's exactly what's going on.
I don't imagine you're hearing much between the 2 teams.
Nothing at all.
Too much at stake here. Thrown around behind and turning with that to the outside. Williams to the back. Delayed penalty call coming up. And on the dub shot, the Devils can touch.
And that was Matt Green. You could probably hear saying they got one quickie. And talking to Jonathan Quick, trying to get him out of the net. Dinah Zubers takes the penalty.
And ahead, a challenge for the Kings. They have the 1-goal lead, and their power play has not been strong at all.
And that's going to be an elbow here by Dinah Zubers. Stick up in the air, elbows up, arms up. Definitely a penalty. If you keep your stick down on the ice, elbow doesn't come up, you don't get a penalty.
4 forwards. Mike Richards playing the left point.
And he has it. Walks it on, gives it across. Kopitar to Doughty. Doughty a shot, and that one kicked right back to him. Doughty dealt it back to the point, covering up there with Richards. Spirited it back to Jeff Carter. Let it across, hurried shot, and that one went wide. Kopitar pulling the trigger there. Doughty let it back over again. Richards with it. A shot is kicked away by Fain. Grabbed off, but it cannot be cleared by Josephson. Came onto the back and a hustle there, and a keep by Doughty. Imagine why they've had so much trouble with it. They're 15 empties in a row, but they look good at least at the start. Josephson brings it on.
Well, you have to give a lot of credit to Phoenix and Mike Smith in particular. I thought their penalty killing under Dave Tippett and the goaltending and Mike Smith was fantastic in the last round.
A lot of one and done in that series as well. It didn't help the Kings. Meaning one chance and then no rebound after that. Create a chance on the power plays.
Parise brings it out shorthanded. Parise watched by Voinov, pushed it in. It is blocked and then covered by Quick.
Oh, good effort there by Zach Parise. Shorthanded. Good play there by Adam Henrique, bouncing puck. Good back pressure coming from Jared Stoll, and Jonathan Quick does the right thing by coming out, not allowing this play to continue.
Jared Stoll's one of those players who played in the 06 final for the Edmonton Oilers. Played in 24 games, had 10 points. He knows what it takes to go to the final and compete.
It is at this time of year you don't talk much about this, but he is so good one-on-one. He was the best percentage shooter a year ago in shootouts. This was slowed down by Ponikarovsky, and then Ponikarovsky left his stick behind. Mitchell comes ahead, hands on to Williams now, puts on the brakes. Williams badgered there by Zajac. It went off a glass support, but it's speared by Stoll and played back in deep.
No stick for Ponikarovsky, dropped it back to the far blue line.
Led to the back now, and it is settled down, and then Voinov must drop back further. Ponikarovsky hustles to the bench and is replaced by Elias. It's brought back by Stoll. Fed on through, and the skipper was right in on Brodeur. Like the good shortstop he is, he holds on.
His brother was drafted by the Montreal Expos, Marty Brodeur, so baseball runs in his gene pool.
many play in the Stanley Cup final at 40. Lester Patrick, who was not a goalie, George Hainsworth, who was, Johnny Bauer, who won a Stanley Cup at 42, Jacques Plante at 40 and 41 in a final, and Marty Brodeur, the 5th ever netminder in history to be 40 and in a Stanley Cup final. One shot for the Kings on this power play that has ended. Zubris is out of the box. Good thump by Elias and a steal. Elias and then Zubris. Oh, and that one fought off by Quick. Played on now by Andy Green and then jabbed past him. Some fight there in the Devils on that one as they developed something as Zubris came out of the box. Green is ridden off there. Richardson reached in. It spun back to a vacant point, and now Doughty has to go down and take this low shuffle pass from Quick.
Boy, the giveaway by Rob Scuderi, trying to move the puck from one side of the ice to the other, and Patrick Elias was right there.
Devils did the right thing. They tried to elevate the puck. I like what Doc said. Jonathan Quick just fought that shot off.
Monokorovsky jabbed that one across. It's turned back on now for the lug back in by Dustin Penner. Fed one on that he hoped would work for Jeff Carter, but we all have hope. Back ahead, Monokorovsky, then back up to Henrique. Peels off, and Henrique looks for reinforcements. Got it on for Kovalchuk, but he could not control. Led back out now, and here comes Penner up the wing. Penner with a shot, save Brodeur. Rebound is punched away by Brodeur to the corner, and back up the boards, and now it's the Devils' turn. First bit of fire wagon that we've seen so far, but it is broken down there as the Kings are able to settle things defensively and lead on to Jeff Carter.
Oh, that play by Dustin Penner. What a good stick by Alec Martinez to create that chance.
Here's Henrique trying to step by and cannot. Written off on the play by Martinez. And it can be played further by Dustin Brown. Former U.S. Olympian gets to center. Pumped on to Kopitar. Escapes with it. Fed across to Brown, and he couldn't get a good shot away. Still worked by Kopitar. Jab loose, but it's up to Brown yet again. Fed back to the point. And that one ricochets loose. And stepping back along with it now is Bernier, but he could not get by. Lifted up by Voinov. It went away from Gianta. And then is cranked back along by Volchenkov, but out of play. It's turned a little helter-skelter. Late second. A quick stop in slow-mo. 1-0. The two teams continue to probe for opportunities. As Daryl Sutter was telling Pierre, many shots are wide. Right to the front, it had to be guided away as breaking in was Parise. Off of Lewis back deep. Stoll back deep to play. Rattled it along, and it is King stepping free. Getting a nice pass across to Lewis. In the wake of Salvador, Lewis a shot that he fanned on, and another one went off a stick and then wide as Brodeur dove. Stoll played it behind. Zidlitsky gets it there and rattles it back ahead. Nicely speared free by Zajac. Brings it on with Zubris and dropped it back in. Revert ball. No, he lost it. A twisting pass in front. It looked like that it was going to be fine for Quick, and then he muffed it. Parise is helmetless in an interchange with Quick back at the goal crease. My goodness.
Might not be a bad thing for the Devils.
I'm with you, Eddie. They need something to get him going. That might have been the thing that got him going.
Volchenkov ahead. Clarkson moves in. Delays now. Yanked a pass in deep. Elias there to get it and turns. Carter on him. Meanwhile, it's played back to the outside by Josephson. Twisted past Elias and behind. Jeff Carter after that one. Run into. Up the half boards off Volchenkov. Dug out and gotten back to Josephson. Spirited it along for Clarkson. And Clarkson bumped it free and tucked it to Elias. Elias big one in front and reaching for that one and trying with Josephson. Another try by Volchenkov. They score! Patrick Elias tie game.
For the first time in a long time, the Devils started sustaining a little pressure. The shot from the point from Anton Volchenkov goes off of Patrick Elias. Go to the net, great things will happen.
It's one of the first times in this game we've seen a juicy rebound by Jonathan Quick. Volchenkov with the shot. It goes up in the air and into the net. Eddie, does he deflect it with his hands? And this is what gets everything going. Jonathan Quick and Zach Parise, the Devils bench was responding to that so And that's what the Devils needed to do. They needed something to get them sparked, and this has gotten them sparked.
Remember, Elias is the guy that shot the puck to the front of the net. He didn't stay to the outside. He got to the center of the ice and was rewarded. Didn't go off the stick, went off the body. Huge goal for the Devils.
He didn't do a fly ball. Here's Williams with it now. Williams fires. Careful save. Brodeur pitched along by Ponikarovsky in the final minute of the second period. Blown away from Henrique, slid across by Doughty, started ahead by Scuderi, then on to Kopitar, but given up to Ponikarovsky and on now to Henrique. Henrique able to float it up the wing, nicely knifed down by Brown, and it can be handled by Doughty. Williams sent it in, out of the pie slice, and sent on by Brodeur. Around behind, it can be played by Zidlitsky. Run off effectively there by Williams. The physical play picks up again. Gianca spiked it ahead. The race back down. Will Bernier win it? He does and cancels the icing, but Martinez emerges. Nice pass across, and here comes Lewis. Lewis brought it on. Sent it in on goal. Blocked and juggled and grabbed by Brodeur, and Stoll was there. Puts his arms up as if to say, no foul, no harm. Dan O'Halloran, the referee, agrees.
Good play here by Trevor Lewis. Just get it to the front of the net, right part of your screen. Here comes Jared Stoll. But I love the aggressiveness of Marty Brodeur. Not taking this play for chance. Sees it, he goes up and gets it, doesn't wait for the puck to come down.
And the energy level starting to pick up. Steven Gianta right into Alec Martinez. That's going to leave a mark, and that's also helped elevate the Devils bench.
The changing of lines by Peter DeBoer the last 7-8 minutes finally paid dividends for the Devils here late in the second.
Good point by you. You're thinking like a coach does.
You got to do it. You're looking for something because it was just, you were just stale for the longest period of time. A lot was LA, but a lot of it was the lack of chemistry that you had. Well, we talked about the energy, the goal by that man right there, Patrick Elias. Get to the front of the net, the big rebound, off the body. They don't ask how, they just ask how many. And Patrick Elias gets credit for the goal. A double deflection there, maybe an off Slava Voyanov after it went off Elias. The rebound. And the puck ends up in the back of the net, maybe off the top of the helmet there, Doc, of number 26 in red.
Well, you're right. They don't ask how, just how many. And the how many for Elias, for his team on the night, is 1, and for him in the playoffs, 5. Discover Card intermission report, insights, and highlights of the game. Mike and Keith, with what the coaches should be telling their teams in the locker room. Liam McHugh is your host for the Discover Card intermission report. Elias from Volchenkov and Clarkson at 18:48. A minor penalty apiece in the second. 40 minutes are in the books, and it's even at 1.
Welcome to the Discover Card Intermission Report. Brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to switch. It pays to discover.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prudential Center. Welcome to your Discover Card Intermission Report. It took almost 39 minutes, but the Devils finally got one past. Jonathan Quick, Anton Volchenkov credited with his first goal of the postseason. Hey everyone, Liam McHugh with Mike Milbury and Keith Jones. We are all tied at 1. The Devils, 0 shots on goal for the first 14:30 of the period. But was this team still making its presence felt?
They were physical, and that's something they need to continue to be against the LA Kings. They're giving up size against the Kings, but they had some impactful contact in that second period, knocking people down and making sure they try to wear down the LA Kings. Jeff Carter takes a huge hit from Zubris. Lewis goes down from Bernier. Clarkson takes down Scuderi. They continue to pound. It was Henrique on Matt Green. When you hit, you hope that it leads to turnovers. And Rob Scuderi gives one up here to Patrick Elias, who slips it to Zubris. Quick makes an outstanding save. And then the Devils continue on the forecheck. Last 5 minutes, much better. Parise makes contact with Jonathan Quick there. Quick gives him a couple extra shots. And Pierre McGuire's alertly said the Devils bench looked more alive. Quickly, Volchenkov got the shot through to the net. It goes off Slava Voynov right there. Off the shoulder, goes over top of Patrick Elias, and goes to the back of the net. The Devils have a hockey game now, and a lot of it has to do with the physicality that they brought in that second period.
Half the reason they were physical, though, Jonesy, is the fact that LA had the puck for the first half of the period and then some.
Yeah, and then 72 seconds left in the period, LA gives up the goal. But because of what you said, is LA really kicking itself for what didn't happen in the first 10 minutes?
You betcha. They had some golden opportunities to score, and they missed out on those opportunities. There's nothing they can do about it now. But take a look at some of these near misses by the Los Angeles Kings. The pass out front to Carter gets blocked right in front of Brodeur. Watch this play by Kopitar to Brown, and a near miss right here. Williams gets a chance and can't find a handle on him. Back they come. Dustin Brown with a great pass to Carter. He fires the thing wide. In fact, he did it several times, as did several other Kings. Kopitar firing it wide here, not getting the right shot. And Penner's got to go far side with this shot. Shot selection has not been good, and the execution has been off. This score could have been 5-0. Instead, it's 1-1.
We are all tied up heading into the third. Up next, Mike and Jonesy will channel their inner Daryl Sutter and Peter DeBoer. These are the faces, the game faces that these two men will deliver. They'll take you inside their own personal actor's studio next. Welcome back to your Discover Card Intermission Report. Time for a little role-playing. Mike, you're going to be Los Angeles Kings head coach Daryl Sutter, which means absolutely positively no smiling during this segment. That's the last one right there. You are going to be Peter DeBoer. Your New Jersey Devils now have all the momentum seemingly going into the third period. You're in the locker room. What are you telling them?
Continue to roll four lines. Keep the shifts short. Obviously, the LA Kings have had a territorial advantage. We can't turn pucks over in the neutral zone. That's an area we have to clean up in a hurry. But keep looking at the bench. Get your scoring opportunities. Get in at Jonathan Quick's feet and get off the ice. Do not overstay your shifts against an LA Kings team that can build a momentum off turnovers. We have to minimize it.
The LA Kings a perfect 8-0 on the road in this postseason. What are you telling your team?
For 40 minutes, we've been the better team. We got a crappy bounce. Get over it. You're going to take your hits. You're going to take your lumps. No retaliation. You have to have the confidence to forecheck. Get in deep. Bang a body yourselves. And by all means, let's stop missing the net. Make Brodeur make a save. Get some traffic on him. Let's win this thing. Don't leave it to chance.
It's game one of the Stanley Cup Final. We are all tied at 1. The Kings struck first. In the first period, they went on top. The New Jersey Devils with the equalizer. It's 1-1. Dot, Edzo, and Pierre delivering period number 3 after this.
You've been watching the Discover Card Intermission Report. Brought to you by Discover Card. It pays to switch. It pays to discover.
The Stanley Cup Final on NBC is brought to you by Kia Motors and the Sorrento Crossover. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. By Bridgestone. Your journey, our passion. And by Discover Card. It pays to discover. Official card of the NHL. We'll be back for the third period face-off, but first, here is a look at the winner of the Discover Card Day with the Cup Contest.
Hockey's huge through this region here. Everybody wants to grow up and have the Stanley Cup in their hands.
What Discover Card has done is offering people the opportunity to bring the Stanley Cup home for the day. It is a once-in-a-lifetime prize.
I found out about the Discover Card contest by my mom.
And he just wrote about how his hockey team helped him through the rest of his hockey season because of his dad being gone. You won. He couldn't believe it. He just dropped.
He cried for joy in this.
Why are you crying?
This is the happiest moment of my life.
It was a good day. It was good.
There's me and my dad. My dad got me interested in hockey. Hockey is something that me and my dad do together.
I'm Noah's grandma. Robert Duran is my son. He's in Afghanistan. Noah, he's a really good boy. He keeps a lot inward. He's very full-hearted.
Knowing what it means to Noah and what it means to Rob, it's just awesome.
A boy like Noah who loves the game so much and obviously loves his dad a bunch too, it'll be a special day for him.
Let's go see Noah and his family and give him his day with the Stanley Cup.
here.
Hi, Dad. Can you see the Stanley Cup?
Oh, I see it. It's beautiful.
I got 4 goals when we were playing the scrimmage.
Oh, that's very cool, bud. Proud of you, buddy. Can't believe you did it. You're going to have fun with your friends. Bye. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
It was a great day in upstate New York with Noah and his family.
This is for you, Dad.
Thank you, Discover Card.
Sergeant Durant from 444th Engineer Company in Afghanistan. I want to say congratulations to my son Noah Delaney and say hi to my wife. I love you guys. I miss you. Can't wait to see you. Enjoy the game.
My, what a marvelous surprise. Heather and Noah have never been to a hockey game, never been to the metropolitan New York area. They get to see the game. They get a message from Dad. They get to ride around with Phil Pritchard. And his card didn't have a problem at the airport, so he didn't have to call Peggy. What a day. And they're seeing a thriller. 1-1 going into period number 3. Marty Brodeur has faced 14. Jonathan Quick has faced 9. Take a look at the Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. And they pertain to Martin Brodeur. Since he turned 40, 6-2, .930, .190, 1 assist, 4th of the playoffs, and as mentioned earlier, the 5th guy to play in a Stanley Cup final at this advanced age. Gordie Howe played till he was 52. George Blanda in the NFL till 48. Jamie Moyer is playing baseball at 49. Marty's got 9 years left just to hit that. Robert Parrish in the NBA till 43. And because they're hockey fans, how about Tom Glavine and Kent Tekulve till they were 42. Tom likes the Bruins, Tekulve likes the Penguins. False start on the faceoff, enabling us to be multiple sports. This is jammed ahead by Parise and played by Scuderi. Off a stick and back in. Brodeur stopped that one. Ripped it back along off Salvador. The challenge came from Williams, and he stoked it behind. Brodeur can't move quickly enough to get this one. The pinch by Scuderi, and the play back onto Kopitar. Wedged off and down by Zidlitsky. Zidlitsky fought it free, and it ricocheted off Parise and comes on back. Doughty reversed, and Scuderi took. Turned over to Zubris. Fed back along to Elias. Puts on the brakes, let it back. Volchenkov is shot, and that directed away. Played on by Harold. Around behind, and it is Zubris. Taken away by Brown. Played back to Zubris. Shoved down by Doughty. And play continues with a pass on to Scuderi. Then back up to Richards. Crisply across now to Brown. Led up the wing to Carter. Diving play. Malfunction from Volchenkov, and Carter sweeps around. Got it on to Willie Mitchell. Mitchell steps behind. Watch stride for stride by Harold, who took it right away. And the Boston College product gave it around behind to Volchenkov, then back up the boards near Clarkson. Fought free back to Mitchell. His shot was stifled down and can be carried back up by Josephson. Leads it ahead to Clarkson. Rattled one off the boards that bounces behind where Josephson turned. Chased off by Voynov. Wanting it is Clarkson, and he's got it. Close quarters to Josephson. Monokorovsky has come from the bench out there now. Meanwhile, this came along, and he's gotten it. Monokorovsky played it on through. Knife back in deeper. Jared Stoll to play it. Run into by Monokorovsky. And then Voynov is run into by Clarkson. It's held there. And a shot by Henrique is saved by Quick. Rebound. It's off the skate of Penner. Henrique to the back. Feign a shot. Bounced loose and kicked to the corner where Monokorovsky tried to play, but Trevor Lewis banged it behind. Heavy hitting on the part of both teams here, and the fans appreciative of what they're seeing in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Penner holds. Former Oiler plopped it back in. Andy Green got it there and led it across to Fain. Providence College product gave it back across to Green. Led ahead to Kovalchuk, who twirls back. He had never won so much as a playoff game in his career in Atlanta, and now he has gotten to the finals. 17 in red, who has now Still out there in a forechecking role. Fraser flies it ahead. Shrugged out from Nolan. Brought on by Richardson. Crunched by Zidlitsky. Taken along by Salvador. Led one past the glove reach of Nolan, and it goes back down. No icing. Matt Green hunted down and bumped off by Giunta, but the follow through from Alec Martinez, and played back on now for the carry on by Nolan. Nolan shoved off, but he bounced off and ridden to the boards by Salvador.
Looked like Zubris wanted to knock him into this second row as well, while Salvador was on the backside of Nolan.
Eddie, does it look like the Devils have more pace here in the third period?
I think some of their guys do, especially through the middle of the ice.
Ryan Carter brought it ahead. The careful block by Quick to the corner. Green duels there off of Ryan Carter and behind. Martinez up, but Harold waiting, and then it wound up going past him. And so pivoting off now and slinging it on back Volchenkov. Harold couldn't get it, but instead it is Zubris, and then coming by Zajac, who was stepped into. Parise holds and shot one that's towed away by the netminder Quick. Poked along by Parise. Zubris rattled it back to the point. Harold kept it there, and a shot carefully trapped on the Kings logo across the chest of Quick.
Well, the Devils are winning more races, and they're getting the more loose pucks, and they're now starting to get back to their identity, Eddie.
Everybody talks about Jonathan Quick, and the guys talked about it in a pregame drill, Pierre, JR, and Darren Pang. But that's the area that I would shoot on Jonathan Quick all the time. There is nothing down low, so you got to shoot that puck 3 feet from the ice and higher. You cannot shoot that puck that low. It's got to be right around the shoulders. It's got to be right around the ears. Higher is better, especially when you get Jonathan Quick going from side to side. Get into an area where he can't get his glove.
They need to tend to a pane of glass down at the Zamboni end. That gives Adam Oates time to do some coaching of Ryan Carter.
Well, the organizational identity of the Devils, strong in the boards, win races, plant people on the forecheck, and dominate. And that's exactly what we're starting to see at the start of the third period by the Devils. Adam Henrique with one chance, and then a second opportunity, just launches wide off the skate of Dustin Penner. But this is more like the Devils we saw against the Flyers and the Rangers, Eddie.
Yeah, that second man. The second man is so important on the forecheck in there. That's the reason why we have the delay. The hit by Colin Fraser on Bryce Salvador, a pair of 24s. But you think about the start of this third period for the Devils. 3 shots in the first 3:50. You go back to the first period, he only had 1 shot in the first 13. Second period, 1 shot in the first 15:30.
Nick Krychak's crew working away, and they've already getting their replacement in place. We've got a chance to pass this along. Lex's competitive edge, shots by period, not many. And none for the Kings so far in the third with 3:50 gone. Glass repaired, offensive zone face-off New Jersey. Travis Zajac and Mike Richards in their time in the Eastern Conference together, where Travis still is obviously playing, have taken a lot of important face-offs. We're not down to crunch time yet, but it's a tie game. And it says here that every draw is important. To Fane, shooting! Oh, and that one blocked in front. Parise, cut 7 pass! A big scramble there! Now it doesn't count! The arms are waved to indicate from Dan O'Halloran that it did not cross the line.
I think it went off the hand or the glove of Zach Parise, Doc. Face-off win. You're talking about face-offs. They must have heard you. Rebound never got to Jonathan Quick. And there you see Zach Parise. The left hand of Zach Parise puts this puck into the net. Watch the left hand of number 9. He gets in behind, goes right under. What a stop. The puck is there, but watch the left hand of Parise. He reaches in right there and puts the puck into the net. Perfect position there by Dan O'Halloran. Outstanding position, right call made. Puck is gloved into the net. No goal. Face-off comes outside. Right there, no goal. Good call by the official.
Dan O'Halloran was a star there. He didn't quit on the play. You don't want your players quitting on the play. There's O'Halloran talking to the people that make the decisions after watching the videotape. And you're right, Eddie. He's in perfect position.
It's really important in those type of situations that the referee moves into an area to be able to get full vision. And what a stop, though, by Jonathan Quick initially off the stick of Zach Parise. Looked like he had a wide open net, just wasn't able to get it up.
After further review, the call on the ice stands. The puck was launched into the net.
Watch the referee will come into your picture. There's the stop. Right part of your screen. There's Dan O'Halloran.
Well, they'll show that in the training films when it comes to positioning and decisive decision-making.
At all levels. College hockey, USHL, American Hockey League.
Zubris is without a helmet. Not on his own. Brodeur pushes it over and Fane gets it.
Jared Stoll helped it come off.
Played along now. King moves in deep. Up the half boards, battled for, kick back to Fane. Hurriedly on now for Josephson, tucked it back out for Parise. Run into by Voinov, and the play goes offside.
Face-off situation. Watch number 20, right in white, Jared Stoll. He'll just take Dinah Zubris, wrestle him down, and little noogie. Take the helmet right off.
It seems about as clean as a jump ball in basketball, but boy, there's a lot of contact. I remember Bobby Carpenter, when he played against Eric Lindros, said the one thing that it takes for face-offs against him is more courage than anything else.
A lot of it is timing. A lot of it is the anticipation of when that puck leaves the linesman's hand. You don't start moving once that puck is on its way down. You start moving as soon as that linesman moves his hands up. Because in order to drop that puck, he's got to move his hand up. And that's when you start moving. Some of the best center icemen in the entire National Hockey League and face-off. Cheap, really good.
Played on by Scuderi. Zidlitsky waltzed in. Henrique emerges, gives on to Kovalchuk. Led on out at center and can be pitched in by Ponikarovsky. Goes in with Scuderi. And Ponikarovsky ridden to the boards and glass. It's dragged on by Henrique. Angled on back to Zidlitsky. Zidlitsky finessed it off the boards. Around behind now for Henrique. Henrique protected, but his pass was in the path of Doughty, who sent this one skipping back down where no icing will be called.
The Kings better get a push to him because now the Devils are really starting to initiate all the play.
Williams is hit by Elliott. Stays down because the puck winds up underneath, and for that reason we get the whistle. Time for inside the glass. Here's Pierre.
Through the first 40 minutes, it was the Los Angeles Kings that dictated the terms. Here to start the third period, the New Jersey Devils are dictating the terms. Board play, winning races, taking hits to make plays, but they want the puck right now. The Los Angeles Kings are being forced to defend rather than attack, and it's causing some problems for them. They need a push big time on the LA Kings side.
Brown connects ahead. Williams is there. Bodied off at the half boards. Clarkson able to hook it back down. No icing on this. Martinez to play. Gives on to Matt Green. Up the boards, but off a devil stick. Galloped on by Kopitar. Nicely across to Brown. Chopped away repeatedly on to Kopitar. Tried to feed one in front, and that one was carried around behind. Roughed up for his trouble was Harold as it came in front, and Clarkson handcuffed Elias, but he's able to make something of it and carry it ahead. Elias drifting with it now. Clarkson to the front. It's lobbed to him. Pivots away from Matt Green. Clarkson dropped it back on. Stepping to it is Gianta. Duels with the other 11, Kopitar. Spiked off of Martinez, and it's taken on by Carter. Carter and Shaw! It's flopped down and covered by Quick. Third period. Another Devils try. Shut off by Quick. Tied at 1 in Game 1. Here is our game recap.
LA Kings, great play here by Jordan Nolan out to Colin Fraser. The Kings with a 1-0 lead after the first period of play. Then late in the second, Anton Volchenkov to the front of the net. It goes off Slava Boyanov, past Jonathan Quick. 1-1 here in the third.
12 wins apiece. 5 of the 12 for both teams have been come from behind. No one gets worried if the score is tight or if you're down by a couple, because they both are resilient and they have come back. This one is tied. The deficit earlier was the Devils by 1. That one rode the shelf for Zubras. Zubras fed, protected by Zajac, banged for Parise. Instead it's Boynov. And he gets some room. Boynov sailed it ahead. Careful block by Fane. Fane brought it on, skied it off the glass, bounced on to Boynov. They'll try again. Opposite way, and it comes to Green, blasts it back in. Around it swirls near Mitchell. Zajac could not close it off and knock it free. Penner ladled it back in. Podakarovsky back after it. Angled it behind where Salvador has time and space. Led it to Henrique. Tucked a pass over to Kovalchuk. Moves in with Zidlitsky and gave it to him. Zidlitsky holds now. Drifts and fed for Kovalchuk, but it's cut off there. Kovalchuk has to drift back defensively. He leads the Devils in assists. They would like to see him shoot probably, as this is angled on back now, where Salvador goes to work though on King, and King fed one that went off Salvador behind. Led to the back, Scuderi. Crisply across Doughty. His shot, and waving at that one from the front of the cage was King, trying to distract Brodeur. Lifted back along by Lewis and grabbed off by King, and a blast and a pad stop made by Brodeur, helped across by Henrique, blasted behind by Kovalchuk. Nearly 8 minutes played, third period, game tied at 1. Oh, and sent flying was Zidlitsky by Nolan.
Clean hit, hard hit.
It is Green in a collision sport. The pass comes back for the feed on to Martinez and back in. Brodeur saw that one go by. Richardson tried to play it further. Taken back on by Nolan. Banged around behind for the return for Fraser. Nolan! It's shut off by Brodeur and keeps pounding away, but can't free it up.
Well, Keith Jones and Mike Milbury talked a lot about it before the game, about Marty Brodeur's ability to be able to handle the puck. The shoot in by Martinez. Brodeur was not able to stop it because it was high around the glass. And then Jordan Nolan takes the puck to the front of net. Good strength there by Marty Brodeur.
Don't admire your pass. Marek Zidlitsky decides to admire his pass, and Jordan Nolan makes him pay. What a sequence for young Jordan Nolan, the son of Teddy Nolan, former NHL coach.
Who we are informed will be watching in California when the series shifts there for games 3 and 4. I hope we get to see him.
Jordan Nolan spent 2 years playing with the Windsor Spitfires. One of his teammates, Adam Henrique.
Some delays here before the puck is dropped. Stray stick near Jonathan Quick.
The shaft is there.
Brad Watson says it's okay to resume. Harold steps by with that and hands on to Zajac. Off of Parise and back down. Point off the touch, icing the call. Follow the Stanley Cup Final with the NHL Game Center app for your mobile device or tablet. Plus, Verizon subscribers can download the Verizon Edition to get live stream games on NBC. Call ** NHL to download. Kopitar and Zajac. One across to Brown, down to the ice he goes. Harold supplying a stick there, but all legally so they say. And it came back on for Zubras. Pulls his way away from Brown at center. Went down, got it onto Zajac. Laid it back in deep and around to get it Kopitar. One hands it on pass, and it's Williams giving it up to Parise, and then Williams yet again. Off of Zajac. The scrappiness continues here. It's away from Dustin Brown. 30 shots in the game, 16 to the Kings as Williams hatchets it back in and catches a linesman.
Derek Amel's the linesman that got hit. Not a good decision by Justin Williams there. Eddie, he could have gone a different route with that puck, couldn't he?
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get off the ice.
Andy Green sent it on back. Matt Green, no relation. Martinez gave it up. Forced back in by Steven Giunta. Green to play it on to Martinez. Then laid on to Richards. Across for Jeff Carter. Moving out with Dustin Penner. And Carter was rolled along the boards by the much more smaller but feisty Giunta. This one comes out to center. It's carried back ahead. Up the wing, they've got Bain. It's set up for a drive by Carter. Rebound. Side of the net. Forced wide by Bain. My goodness. Played back off the boards and cut off by Henrique. Henrique whacked at by Penner. Henrique turning. Let it back. Bain a shot. Bounced on to Henrique. Settled it down again and then is rammed at the corner by Martinez. Around behind hit was Ponikarovsky by Matt Green. Ponikarovsky trying to pull his way along and is able to keep it. Tried to play the point. Jeff Carter nicely swaggers out to center for the Kings. Lays it across to Penner, and Penner pumped it back in and comes to the bench for a change. It hit an uneven piece of the boards and took a devil's bounce. Laid back on for Ponikarovsky. Fired it wide. And quick watches as Scuderi plays. Off the shoulder of Henrique. Knifed down by Scuderi. And we get a stoppage of play and a hand pass is ruled. Bumpy road to the finish. Third period. A close call, but we're still 1-1. On Monday night, following Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final, it's an all-new Costas tonight. Among Bob's guests, Doug O'Neill, who you saw here earlier, the charismatic and controversial trainer of Triple Crown contender I'll Have Another, and another guy with some personality, New York Jets head coach Rex Ryan. That's Monday on the NBC Sports Network after game numero 12. Offside is called. I imagine there are 28 other coaches in the NHL watching this game tonight, either in Canada or the United States. What do you think they're thinking watching this, and how would they assess the first 2.5 periods?
Well, I think they're always looking about adjustments and how to put their team and certain players that maybe have that jump in the field. And Peter DeBoer for the Devils and Daryl Sutter of the Kings to have that pulse on what can turn the momentum or what guys have that little bit of jump. And one guy I think has had a really good game has been Peter Harold, former LA King, now New Jersey Devil defenseman. So once a coach, always a coach, regardless of if you're behind the bench or sitting on your couch at home.
This is punched ahead, and here's Nolan bringing it on with Fraser. Nolan bumped into soundly there by Volchenkov. Meanwhile, the puck comes back to the Volchenkov corner. It's angled on where it couldn't be reached by Elias and is controlled by the Kings defense. They have outshot the Devils 16-15 in a 1-1 tie. Boy, we're sure glad you're watching this with us tonight here from Prudential Center in Newark. Game 1, best-of-7 Stanley Cup Final. Number 8 seed in the West, number 6 in the East. Parise dueling there with Voynov and is able to pull it away. Parise fed it onto the back. Here's Payne moving in. Shooting one that's blocked off by Brown. Poked back across and regathered and kept alive by Zajac. Past Parise, near Zubras. The sticks come up high, and Zubras sees Parise go to the front of the net and almost have a good chance. To the back it comes to Payne. Slung back over to Green. Green with a wrister, and that one was wide. Brown tried to drop it back along, and Payne pinched in to cancel that. Zubras around behind, turned along by Voynov. The two of them go working on the boards. Zubras tried to punch it through. Fed off, and it can be played back out by Justin Williams. Williams batted it back in, tries to fight his way back for it, has to get by Green. Meanwhile, it's taken by Payne. Kovalchuk dips on back and lays it circle to circle over to Green with 7:40 to go in the third. That one chipped across, and here's Kovalchuk having it knifed away neatly, and back ahead now for Richards. Richards is able to escape, moves right in, fed it on back, and a shot by Downey is stopped by a sprawling Brodeur. Kovalchuk lost it again, moving back in is Penner. A shot stopped by Brodeur. Out in front, shaken on goal by Carter, stopped by Brodeur. Kovalchuk brings it back, led one off of Henrique that goes back in deep. Henrique plants Scuderi. Puck came along to Doughty, who had a slot chance but could not push it by. Jeff Carter able to back backhanded in. They come to the bench for a change. A fresh set of Kings are out there. Lobbed on to Volchenkov. Volchenkov quickly ahead for Elias. Swept away from him, though, and gathered in by Martinez. Handed on to Matt Green. Swatted back in by Dwight King. Battled for by a man apiece. Prevailed on by Harold. Across now for Volchenkov. Knocked down by Bernier and played on back by Martinez.
What a push by the King. Best chance of that sequence of the three. The Drew Doughty chance. Brodeur stacking the pads. Big time stop.
Martinez from Matt Green. Brought it on ahead and scaled one wide. The Brodeur plane further away. Richardson settles it down there. Collides with Green, reaching in as Josephson, sped on back, and it can be controlled, and played back across by Boyne off to Mitchell, and that one went off Fain. Taken around behind by Fraser. Couldn't get a pass to the front, as Fain was there, also Josephson. More battling, it skidded off, a chink of the boards right back out in front. Oh, and a shot is blocked down, and the rebound, kicked back along to be fed onto the point. Held there by Mitchell, given across to Richardson, blocked by Brodeur, paddled away by Brodeur, fired back up the board. Crossing sticks are Mitchell and Clarkson, and the puck careened back to center.
Thought Marty could have had a chance. Marty Brodeur could have taken that puck and froze it, because right now the Kings have a major push going on right now against the Devils.
Boy, that wood on that side has caused two of those odd plays where it has a gouge in it, or maybe it's just uneven where it fit together, but at any rate, back in deep it is played now by Zidlitsky. The Los Angeles Kings have come up with the last 6 shots. Jabbed along now and on back to Scuderi. Slid on across for Doughty. Doughty able to pull away and back out to center. Guided it back ahead for Brown. Knife down by Doughty. Poached on back. And then it is flung by Williams and grabbed off and punched back out again by Zajac. Led on across for a feed back up the boards, and that one escaped where Zidlitsky tried to play it ahead. Guided back on now to Kovalchuk. Kovalchuk just delays, holds, waits, and fired one that bounced to the corner. Getting a piece of that was Scuderi. Poked away by Henrique. Spun back on to Ponikarovsky. Shoved there by Doughty. Henrique comes up with that. Well, the heavyweights are giving punches and taking them, aren't they? On out to center. Harold drops it on back. 36 total shots in the game, 21 by the Kings. The goaltenders have been sparkling. It is thrown back in by Jeff Carter. Stopped by Brodeur. Hoisted on, and it careened back on for Penner. Penner swings one that was blocked away. The first of the faulty clears on the night by either goaltender. This one is sent wide. Quick does not do as much of that by any means as Brodeur, nor does anybody. It is swept on around where it is settled down by Richards, given up to Green, and the shot was blocked, and then he recovered and played it back in. And they are leaving it behind because it would be an offside. Offside is white. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go. Third period of a tie game. Coming by and falling, but playing it ahead to Elias is Josephson. Clarkson challenges, but Martinez is up with it.
We're going on about 5 minutes without a whistle here.
Zidlitsky played it on. The bouncer is settled down by Matt Green and stoked ahead. Trevor Lewis plays it back in off the boards. Brodeur tapped it behind. Regathered to the outside, led on, and trying was Lewis. No luck, is outletted on to Clarkson. Clarkson put it off a stick, goes after it, but Matt Green prevailed on that good reach. Then it's Salvador blasting it back around again, and this one is slowed down behind. And it is Matt Green holding. Carried on by the Kings. Fraser walks it ahead. The only goal scorer pushed one off the stick of Brodeur. Right back up the strange boards. It careens on to center where Parise is able to lob it back in. Parise moves in, crosses sticks there with Scuderi. Good defensive play by him. Back up the boards, it's Richardson. Lays it across for Nolan. The challenge from Volchenkov. The two of them stalemate, and so Henrique comes by. Guides it along to Harold. And took a strange bounce, but is now outletted by Henrique. On now to Kovalchuk. Flung back off the boards, chopped on by Doughty. Grabbed off by Williams, and Williams can bring it back. Challenged by Henrique from behind. Kicked back along now for Green to play it around behind. Rifled back down the ice. And a rare halt to the action here in the bumpy ride to the finish of the third period with 2:02 to go in the third of a 1-all tie.
Watch this area of the ice right there. We talked about the crazy boards, the uneven boards right there. Comes out and the Kings get a great chance. What an effort there by Mark Faye.
Can't be too casual with the puck. Marty Berdure's casual. Jeff Carter knocks it out of the air. Almost a quality chance. And how about this one, Eddie? Marty Brodeur, the double pad stack save against Drew Doughty.
Oh, the aggressiveness there by Marty Brodeur if you're Drew Doughty. Well, they must have heard you, Doc. Was at least 3 times that puck was taking a crazy curve to the front of the net, but Drew Doughty with that opportunity on Marty Brodeur. Great play by Mike Richards. 2 great plays. One, he avoided the hit by Merrick Zidlitsky along the boards and then drew everybody to him, threw it back to the middle of the ice. Drew Doughty's got to hold on to the puck a second longer, allow Brodeur to kind of tilt down and then fire the puck upstairs.
I may not have been paying attention, but I don't remember the rubber hammer from Norm Abrams on this old house. But it's fun watching it work here, and maybe there won't be any more crazy bounces to that side. Brought ahead now, Ponikarovsky, a shot that went wide. Well, you expect it to be hard-nosed, strongly played, and it has been. And back up the wing it comes to Dustin Brown. Rifles it on toward the back. It is corralled and dropped back in again by Voinov. Kopitar had it knifed away in a reach by Zidlitsky. So on now comes Josephson. 90 minutes separating these two teams from overtime. Mitchell grabbed it, lost to Josephson, bumped out of the play by Richards, and on across it comes.
An elbow there, it looked like from Mike Richards on Adam Henrique.
Boy, the Devils bench sure thought so.
That one deflected on back, and Doughty fired it off the linesman's legs. Penner wrapped up by Zajac, got it on to Richards. Richards delays and shoots, and a save made by Brodeur.
And isn't that where he's so sneaky? Mike Richards just holds that puck a little longer.
Yeah, he looks over and makes it look like he's going to make this pass, but you talk about patience. This is something you try to teach young hockey players. Wait, and then open up that space. And Brodeur, the key, no rebound given up, good stop. A lot of times guys will get that puck on their stick and they'll just, you know, they'll get the yips, they'll just get rid of it right away. But guys that have good offensive skill will hold on to a second longer.
Off the bounce, it's taken on by Jeff Carter. Slung one in front that's cut off by Andy Green. And worked back out to Parise. Parise lobbed it ahead for Green. Reached by Scuderi. The two of them go for it. And around it, Parise's run off as he tried to push it to the front of the net by Richards. King able to trickle one back in. Green came up with that one, bounced it along. It's taken away from King by Green, led back across, and Clarkson swatted at it. Couldn't be reached by Parise, and now is controlled and rifled back out to center by Doughty. Sent on by Stoll, but a good cut by Elias. Back up to Clarkson. Fires into the glove of Quick.
Aggressive goaltending there by Jonathan Quick. David Clarkson's had some real good looks, but again, play through the middle of the ice. Look at Jonathan Quick and look at upstairs. So low, so far out. Can't give him a chance to catch those pucks 2 feet off the ice.
Zach Parise doesn't quit on the play. Andy Green, a defenseman in deep. A little pick play by Zubris creates a marginal opening for Parise. He just can't get to the front of Jonathan Quick. But a great effort by Parise.
First shot in the last 10 minutes for the Devils. That shot by Clarkson.
Out of the tie-up, Stoll able to hustle it across. It's brought back out again by Lewis, and Lewis able to damp it back in. Along it goes to the half board, pumped high by Stoll. Settled down there and ripped into some traffic as they whack away at it, reaching in Zidlitsky. Puck carried back out by the Devils. Kovalchuk fed it on. Elias with 9 to go, and a drive that went wide. Hopped right back in front and carefully paddled to the corner by Quick. 2 seconds and 1. Gonna take extra time. 60 minutes have been played. Coming up on the Subway Overtime Intermission Report, Mike and Keith and Liam. The Devils' forecheck creates havoc, but the Devils miss their chances. That's coming up on the Subway Overtime Intermission Report. The last Game 1 to go to overtime was 10 years ago. Carolina won that game at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit over the Red Wings in double overtime, 3-2. That's history, not necessarily prophecy. Could have been 2-1, but it's 1-1.
Welcome to the Overtime Intermission Report, powered by Subway. Breakfast made the way you like.
Welcome to your Subway Overtime Intermission Report. We're tied at 1, and welcome to the 24th installment of Overtime Hockey in these playoffs. Lee McHugh, Mike Milbury, and Keith Jones. That's the what. Let's show you the why and the how. This is how we got here tonight from Newark, New Jersey. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Jonathan Quick. Early on, it's scoreless in this one. First period, but it's the Kings that break through.
Colin Fraser buries that goal. Good forecheck work. It's Nolan that knocks down Andy Green, gets the puck out to Colin Fraser, who gets it through the legs of Marty Brodeur, and it's 1-0 for the Kings.
Jordan Nolan's first career playoff assist. Fraser's first career postseason goal. It's still 1-0. We're into the second period. Just over a minute remaining. The puck pinballs around and somehow slips past Jonathan Quick.
It's called a bad break. Watch the chest of Voinov. He chests it into the back of the net behind Quick, and all of a sudden, improbably, it's a tied hockey game.
So Zach Parise celebrating on the bench. The Devils, they equalize. We head to the third period, all tied at 1. Jonathan Quick. You wonder how this puck didn't find its way to the back of the net.
Yeah, it does.
We know why it did, though. It was, watch Zach Parise here. It's tough to see at this angle. When you get a better close-up look, he waves it in with his hand right there, Jonesy. That one won't work.
Try, and try.
Yeah, that's right.
This was a huge opportunity. If you're Mark Fane, you have no postseason goals in your career, and you'll be seeing this one in your nightmares.
He's had a heck of a hockey game, actually. He steps up there, has the chance for the empty net. It rolls off his stick. Devils continuing to push the D into the offense, and I think it really paid dividends in that third period.
So, regulation time insufficient. New Jersey and Los Angeles all tied up 1-1. Martin Brodeur has 21 saves in this one, but the Devils, their story in the third period, all about a strong forecheck.
For the Devils, there was no question. It was a great forecheck. 15-5, they out-hit the Los Angeles Kings in that period, and their forecheck led to possession changes, which is the ultimate in forechecking objective. Right there, two guys down low, Bonikarovsky, then he peels off to the front of the net. They get some good opportunities and some near misses off this, and it tires out opposing defenses. Here they get right on Jonathan Quick, and this almost paid off in a goal-scoring opportunity here. There's no question when you get in this kind of situation and you're facing the glass as a defenseman, you're going to make a lot of mistakes with it. And boy, did they make some mistakes. But this was the best opportunity, Liam. We just saw it. Watch Fane on the rebound here. He just can't get a handle on it. A gaping net to shoot at, and that doesn't go, and hence we're in overtime.
So because of that, all tied at 1. So often during this postseason we talked about the Devils' fourth line really being a difference maker for them. Safe to say that LA's fourth line's outplayed them?
No question. And when you looked at the highlights that Mike was showing, it was all kinds of Devils on the forecheck. The one line for the Kings that has been able to establish some sort of forecheck has been the fourth line, led by Jordan Nolan. He's had an outstanding game. Played 9 minutes and 51 seconds, but he's been noticeable. Big hits here, jumping in, using his size on the forecheck, battling in the corners, trying to jam it past Marty Brodeur there. Kings' best offensive opportunity in the third period was from their fourth line. Little chip play here, good energy and on the forecheck, more physical contact, gets the puck to Fraser. That's the only Kings goal in this hockey game, and so much of it from that fourth line.
And give Daryl Sutter credit. He saw that these guys had energy, and he stuck with them. He put them into all situations. In a tied game in the third period in particular, they almost made it pay off.
We are headed to overtime in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Martin Brodeur is a big reason why the 40-year-old netminder has a career record of 16-22 in playoff overtime games. We're back after this. Welcome back to your Subway Overtime Intermission Report. The Kings and the Devils all tied at 1 heading into overtime. Ilya Kovalchuk led his team in scoring in the regular season. He's leading them in the postseason. What are you seeing from him tonight?
Not a lot, and that's not going to condemn this guy because you can always find a way to make a difference in a game like this. But for Kovalchuk, the legs don't seem to be there. He seems to be really struggling and forcing plays, turning the puck over here. You know, turns it back. There's nobody there. He just tries to go deep. Nothing happening for Kovalchuk. I don't see it in his legs, and they're trying to find ways to get him the puck, and it just isn't working for the Devils. This is really forcing the issue for me. The turnover goes the other way, and for my money, Kovalchuk just has to stay with it, take what they give him, get his shots on goal, don't try to overplay his aim.
It's a risk when you're a go-to guy like Kovalchuk. Everybody on that team that's out on the ice with him is trying to set him up for a scoring opportunity. They don't need to. Not in this game. They need to do exactly what they did in the third period when Kovalchuk wasn't on the ice. Get those pucks in deep and get in on the forecheck. Stay patient with it. Don't try to force the issue. He'll get himself open. He'll get his scoring chance, but don't try to force it to Kovalchuk.
The Devils are 4-1 in overtime games in this postseason. If they get to 5-1, they'll need Kovalchuk to step up his game. Do they just need Martin Brodeur to continue playing the way he's played so far?
Absolutely, and the first goal wasn't a great goal for the Kings, but Brodeur bounced back as he always does. Kings did get some shots in the latter part of the third period, some A-quality scoring opportunities, and Brodeur closed the door. We knew he was going to handle the puck well to try to keep the Kings off the forecheck. He's done that. Penner gets a prime chance here. Brodeur steers it clear, and then really the game on the stick of Drew Doughty right there, and it's Brodeur stacking the pads. Another one of those old school saves. He had a bunch of them against the Rangers. He comes up with another great one there.
You can't overstate how difficult it is for a goaltender who gets the kitchen sink thrown at him and then all of a sudden goes quiet for about 20 minutes, doesn't see much action, and then they come with a second push. Brodeur was ready for that second push, and that's part of the reason why we're in overtime.
If Kovalchuk needs to amp up his game, does Dustin Brown need to step it up as well?
Yeah, he's been also very quiet. In fact, some of the big names, Carter's had some chances, but his shot wide. There hasn't been much luck from any of the big names
Couple
tonight.
of big hits from Brown early in the first period. Then he had the contact with Marty Brodeur. The penalty was drawn by Brodeur, and since then, Brown has been quiet. They're going to need him to amp up the energy level and start throwing the body around in overtime.
Both the Kings and the Devils clinched their trip to the Stanley Cup Finals with overtime victories. Now in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, they're headed to overtime. That's next.
You've been watching the Overtime Intermission Report, powered by Subway. Breakfast made the way you like.
Welcome back to the Stanley Cup Final. Overtime presented by Geico. Seems like a long time ago that these teams scored a goal. You pointed out about the middle point of the game, the Devils needed to make some line shifts, and they've done it. Have they stuck with it?
Yeah, the middle two lines they have, Doc. You kind of move Ilya Kovalchuk around, Alexei Ponikarovsky, and anytime that you are struggling, generate offense. And the Devils had 5 shots on goal for the first half of the game, but I really like that change in game by head coach Peter DeBoer of the New Jersey Devils.
Let's look ahead to overtime, stamina, and also who you think might end this.
Well, I think for the Devils, I think you got to look at David Clarkson. Only 1 shot on goal, but he's missed a couple of real good opportunities. And for the LA Kings and Jonathan Quick, I look at Mike Richards. The puck has been finding him. He's made some really good plays in the offensive zone. But it's never a bad play, especially in overtime, to get the puck to the net. And remember, long changes in the overtime period, meaning your defensive zone is the farthest away from your bench. So you got to make sure if you're going to change, you better change early. But all 5 guys can't leave the ice at the same time because those quick movements could give an odd man situation the other way.
Those of the 17,600 who were standing have settled back in now as Kopitar makes the first offensive thrust. Zedlitsky is up with that. Plays it along now for the protection of Zubras and drop back in, hoping for Parise, but Doughty there, reversed onto Scuderi, quickly right back up the boards, and it's advanced on for the carry by Williams. Fires one that's into the catching glove of Brodeur. Hands it aside where it's lobbed along by Fane, knifed down by Richards and dealt back in, and Brodeur will play it again. Bryce Salvador with a long toss, directed back in by Parise, careened behind, and it's played on by Quick. Jeff Carter takes it there. Hands back onto Richards. Sparred for and gotten by Clarkson, but juggled down by Carter. Knifed away from him, and it is angled on back by Fane. Taken by Clarkson. Clarkson to the outside, finesses, moves to the front, and the backhander was blocked.
Good play there by Slava Voyanov.
Well, you had the right guy, at least on the first good opportunity in overtime. This one came to the front and was bunted aside by Willie Mitchell. Kept alive, though, by Harold. Knocked down by Mitchell. Played it along now for the clear back out by Penner. Richards tried to play it there, could not. It bounced off Harold, and he goes deep. Angled along by Harold. Chopped back in by Henrique. Quickly read and started back out. Down to the ice went King. Forced on by Volchenkov. Brought back and fired back in again by Scuderi. Ripped along by Volchenkov and out to center. Dowdy handed it across. Scuderi brought it back from the checkered line in. Around it comes for Jared Stoll. Dropped it around behind, and it's picked up and dealt back up for Kovalchuk. Marches back out with Ponikarovsky. Kovalchuk dealt it in, and Ponikarovsky went after it. Quick was able to get there. Played it to Scuderi, right back along, and then it's turned over to Giunta. Giunta sent it back. Salvador protected it there. Went from his backhand toward the corner, where Scuderi is able to patrol and get one. They came back to Salvador for a shot, and that one directed up high by Giunta. Kings are trying to get safely out, and they do as far as center this time. King is run off by Zidlitsky, so Salvador can spin. Right back up to Ryan Carter, who marches on with Bernier. Carter got it on. Bernier turned. A couple of extra moves there. Ridden off by Scuderi. Bernier protects it behind, but then it popped loose to Scuderi. Back on now for the try by Richardson that kicked across and is rifled off the stick of Andy Green. He whirls it back along for Carter, and Carter angles it back to center, but we get a stoppage of play and an offside.
Well, David Clarkson gets this puck. Does a real nice job here going around Willie Mitchell. Gets it to the backhand, and there's Slava Voinov. And good help there from Dustin Penner on the back check with the good active stick.
You see Josefson and Eliasho both going hard to the net for the Devils after Clarkson beat Mitchell at the front of the net.
These are guys who have gotten them in overtime. Quick's record is 3-4 in playoff overtime. Brodeur's is 14-21. 4-1 this year, and he grabs that one and hands it along.
Good job there by Brodeur to stay home. Bad bounce off the glass.
Kept along by Kopitar. Kopitar saw it turned away by Fane, and then waffle boarded down in front by Brodeur and sent on out to center, where Willie Mitchell is able to shove it along, run into, and the puck wound up going out of play, and so we get a stoppage of play.
Real good composure on both benches right now. Obviously, Eddie and Doc talked about the long changes. That makes it difficult, and guys are really shortening their shifts up right now. David Clarkson just says over to the LA Kings bench, at some point we're going to have to go. Now he's going after Dustin Penner. Clarkson's been feeling it all night long, and he's challenging. He's up to the challenge. There's no question. That'll be a hand pass.
Pierre, it is May the 30th. And it was warm outside today. What do you see down below?
It's warm down here. It's warmer than at any time I've experienced, and I've been here all playoff long, as you have, Doc and Eddie. This is the warmest I felt it down at ice level here in this building.
Do you notice anything about the playing surface itself?
Just a lot of bouncing pucks more than anything else.
Volchenkov goes back after this, hunted down by Jeff Carter, drilled it on along. Richards tried to play it deeper. Andy Green anticipated and floated it back down. It hits and hops and goes wide of the crease and is touched for an icing. Saturday night, the Stanley Cup Final continues on NBC as Marty Brodeur and the Devils host the Kings in Game 2. The Stanley Cup Final presented by Geico continues Saturday, 8 Eastern on NBC, part of NBC Sports Championship season. They're poised for the draw that comes to Carter, and a backhander was shut right off by Clarkson, who got in the way. Harold moves in along with Penner. And then Josephson. And then Elias marches ahead with Clarkson, forces it in and goes in after it and gets there. Centered one that had to be guided away by Quick. So Salvador retreats to play. Salvador into the blue paint, and this one bounced along now for King. Slid around behind. Brodeur decides not to go for that one. Ponikarovsky is there. And bumped out of the play and into offside territory was Henrique.
Eddie, you know the feeling being down here as a player. One of the things that's going on right now, the players on both benches are telling the players on the ice, it's in your feet, pucks are behind you. So you're getting a lot of coaching from both benches, but it's not from the coaches, it's from the players.
Yeah, it's being those eyes and ears for the guys on the ice, and there is something for that. Always like communicative hockey players, whether coaching or trying to be one myself in that situation, has helped guys out. Just a little yell here and there can really make a big difference.
Boynoff tried to play it ahead and could not. Gianta retreats. Boynoff connects back over. Willie Mitchell played it ahead off Dustin Brown and down. No icing here. So Zidlitsky, with 4:20 gone in the first sudden death overtime period, the Devils will be guilty of icing on this one. And the face-off back near Brodeur.
Larry Robinson's furious right now. Pete DeBoer's off. Larry Robinson is just absolutely apoplectic on the bench because they just waved one off. I mean, he was just screaming at the linesman.
Former LA Kings coach.
20 consecutive years in the playoffs. 20 consecutive years in the NHL. 18 with Montreal, 2 with Los Angeles.
Fair to say one of the top 7 defensemen of all time. Would you not agree, Ben?
And the outstanding plus-minus player in history. No one close, and no one's probably going to get close. Scuderi canceled out by Gianta. It's punched ahead by Kovalchuk. Moves up with Ponikarovsky. Kovalchuk holding, firing one, and that directed wide. Moving in is Salvador. Took the hit, gave it to the corner. Ponikarovsky back to him. Salvador ladled it around behind. Kovalchuk up with it there. Run into by Kopitar. Kopitar led it on. If you have the puck, you could be hit. And it's what is happening all night long between these two teams and in every playoff game. The nature of the sport. Controlled now by Dustin Brown and led across for Doughty to bring on. Canadian Olympian dropped it right back in again. After it is Andy Green, harassed there by Nolan. Turning the other way with it is Fane. Fane hurried it along. Parise took the hit from Richardson, but got it on. Brought on by Zubris and dropped back in. Gliding back for it there is Mitchell, and he's able to turn and fire it back up the boards, but it careened on back for Zajac, though he has to protect and backhand it in from center. 5.5 played. First overtime period. Kings are perfect at 2-0. Devils have won 4 out of 5. There's an icing that comes here.
Jordan Nolan took a stick right in the face from Travis Zajac a little bit earlier in this shift. Now with the Kings icing the puck, they got their 4th line on the ice, not able to make a change. Peter DeBoer comes out with a makeshift line here of Adam Henrique, Ryan Carter, and Ilya Kovalchuk up front.
It's to Kovalchuk, fires, and that ricocheted off Nolan, and then hopped wide. Back again, Kovalchuk, side of the net, try to pass play. Did not work. Harold gets in. That one is blocked off by Quick. Scramble there, and it's off Quick again. Oh, the Devils had a couple of close-in chances. This comes back near Kovalchuk, but it started back out again, and led on by Nolan. Richardson played it carefully back in. The Kings draw a deep breath, and the Devils are back in their own end of the ice to try and clear it out. They can't, but it hopped off Richards, and then it's flagged down by Jeff Carter. Knifed down by Zidlitsky. Played back on for Penner, and Zidlitsky will glide back to play that one. Shakes Penner, who wipes out. Zidlitsky can start back ahead. And right back in deep again for Matt Green to play, ex-captain of North Dakota. Led it on behind for the return pass from Martinez. Back up the boards past Carter. Salvador punched it into Carter. It's led back ahead, and Carter sees this up the wing with Penner holding. Fed one across that was behind Richards. Might be an on-man rush the other way. Elias moves back with Josephson. Creeps in, led it across. Clarkson had trouble slowing it down and getting a shot away. And another try was off Quick. Clarkson around behind. Josephson turning there. Shakes away from Richards. Josephson gets a little more space and led it back to Green. Drive! And that deflected up high by Martinez. Careened on back. Elias tried to play it, could not. Carter able to force it, but not out. Carter yet again. Rolled it back, and Andy Green takes over.
Long shift right now for Carter. Whoa, sorry about that. Carter and Richards.
And that's an icing, Pierre. You can't authenticate it. You're right on the red line when it came by.
Well, a couple of opportunities here. Patrick Elias over to David Clarkson. Goes to settle this puck down, as Pierre made mention earlier. Bouncing pucks. Missed opportunity there for the Devils.
Talk about the chance for Kovalchuk. Guys are getting in the lane, selling out. All kinds of opportunities in that little pass, shot. Trying to find Henrique, and Kovalchuk just can't get it to him.
Yeah, that second one there has got to be at the net. You can't be looking to make a pass.
I'm with you. He's done a lot, though, tonight. He's trying to be too unselfish. He's got to get a little more selfish.
Stoll on the draw. Stepping across is Lewis, and he's got it. Harold on him. More board battling. Reaching in is Andy Green. Squib one along. Stoll flipped one that's off a devil's stick. Punched around behind by King, then popped up high where Elliott can settle it down and get it as far as center. Quickly touched from Scuderi back to Doughty and then on to Lewis. And they have a little more time and space to work with, and emerging with it is Doughty. Gliding right back along. Doughty nudged one across that got hung up on the line, drilled back in by him. And it's all a legal play as the Kings are making a change. Jonathan Quick sets it up. Rattled back along up the boards and cut off by Parise. Threw one in front off of Zajac on his try. And then Zajac able to tap it along. Fed through by Doughty. Twisted along, and here's Kopitar moving it along. He scores! Kopitar in overtime. And the Kings have taken game number 1.
What a play in the middle of the ice by the Los Angeles Kings. Here's Ajay Kopitar, the eventual goal scorer. The puck is going to be moved up here by Drew Doughty, but watch the pass right here by Justin Williams. Tremendous pass. Backhand right to the middle of the ice. Kopitar holds onto it. Watch the fake. Right there. He freezes Marty Brodeur, and then Kopitar reaches all the way over on the forehand and beats Marty Brodeur to the far side. He freezes him right there. Brodeur moves, and then Kopitar elevates it up and over the right leg of Marty Brodeur. But what a play by Justin Williams, Doc, to get the puck to Kopitar. And then the moves by the big center iceman. And the Kings win Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Patience with the puck, a couple of stick handles. Brodeur not able to get that pad down. And on that look, watch where this puck goes. Ends up going under the pad of Marty Brodeur.
To the ice, here's Pierre.
Thanks a lot, Doc. Take us through the game-winning, overtime-winning goal.
Well, I mean, I saw Brownie get the puck on the boards, and he's usually pretty good at chipping pucks out. And you know, Justin came over, and I just wanted to make sure I'm somewhere in the middle just in case if something happens. And it turned out pretty good. And you know, as I was going in on Marty, world-class goaltender, but I think I got the best of it tonight.
I'll tell you, there was a lot of punching and then counter-punching. Is this the kind of game you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, we're both pretty good, you know, teams in the neutral zone, and you know, you just want to make sure you get through the neutral zone with no turnovers. And you know, tonight we had a few, they had a few, and you know, I'm sure we're going to be a little sharper in Game 2.
Is this the most adversity you faced this playoff season? Because you can get to lose on the road.
I mean, we didn't. It seems that we didn't face a whole lot of adversity during the playoffs, but I think our season was quite a bit of you know, a challenge for us, and you know, ups and downs, coaching change, you know, struggling to get into the playoffs. So you know, we're prepared for coming in.
Thanks for your time. We'll see you for Game 2.
Anytime.
Doc Emmerich.
Every win on the road for these guys is another record. This is 9 straight out of the blocks of 9 road games. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news followed by The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Special guest is President Barack Obama. Remember, Saturday night, the Stanley Cup Final continues on NBC as the Kings and Devils face off in Game 2. The Stanley Cup Final presented by Geico Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, part of the NBC Sports Championship season. And right now, over on the NBC Sports Network, our post-game coverage continues. Fraser and Kopitar with the Los Angeles goals. On chase is in overtime. Volchenkov, the lone goal for New Jersey. For birthday boys, Rick Hines, Joe Bellemere, Alexander Salzer, and for Dr. Hook, Tim McCracken, Eddie and Pierre, Keith and Mike and Liam and Darren and Jeremy, Doc saying good night all.